Well, hi. We are pros. My name is Beth. I'm your kind of benevolent DM. We are Power Word Play, and this is our Princes of the Apocalypse edition. Everybody say hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Okay, thank you. We are going to hop right on in with our Q&A session with friendly reporter Dita Scotter. Anybody? No? Okay. We're going to start. Let's switch it up and we'll do Dr. Boom today first. Everybody else, back out of the room. So, Dr. Boom. Rumor around Red Larch says that you weren't quite honest with the constable about the amount of goods that you all recovered from poor travelers. How does Dr. Boom feel about that?
I mean, I do not feel bad for taking things that could be useful. I only took one thing, and it was a rather large gem that I will use to build something to help the people of Red Larch. So, is it really stealing?
More on that later. Thank you, Dr. Boom. How about we jump over to Faye?
Hi.
Hello, Faye. What is it you're wearing this evening? I see some new bejewelment.
Yes. So I'm wearing my friendship ring on my horn. I gave the other one to Yvain. We found them in the tomb thing, and they're braided silver and electrum, and they're really nice because I couldn't go see the sparklies before, but these are my own sparklies, and I get to share it with my friend.
Well, that's lovely. We'll confirm rumors of your engagement next week. Thank you. Let's hop on over to Yvain. So, you're engaged. Tell me more.
Oh, ha, no. We're just really good friends, but I have no ring on. It's in my bag.
Oh, I see. Does she know that you rejected her proposal because she's still wearing hers?
Yeah, she can wear hers. She knows that we're friends still. Yeah.
I see. Thank you, Yvain. Next up, we have Stack.
Hi, how are you?
So, you just like sleeping? Or are you really shy? Do you have that disease where you just pass out randomly?
I believe what you're referring to is narcolepsy. No, I don't have that. I don't really like fighting. I get really excited in the heat of the moment, and it's fun. It's fun, all things considered. But then I got to crunch notes and do numbers there at the end.
Okay. Thank you, I think.
You're welcome.
Let's check in with Kesem and see if we can get a better answer. Hi, Kesem.
Hi.
How do you feel about being a furball and essentially being relegated to the team pack horse?
It's not unexpected, it's just disappointing.
Yeah. If you could tell your friends one thing, what would it be?
Be kind to nature.
Oh, not what I was expecting. But okay. All right. Thank you, Kesem. And how about Cade?
Hi.
Hi. Please define spookin' for me.
Spookin'. Thing which spooks. Perhaps thing that causes a spookening.
I don't think technically you can use the word you're defining in the definition. Marion and Webster would not be pleased. All right, we will turn back in next week for this edition of Who's Your Team? But let's hop back into Red Larch and see what's going on.
Those are fantastic, by the way.
I like them.
Yay for not having anything prepped. Thank you, improv class. All right. So to briefly recap the last couple of minutes of last week's session, you guys cleared a tomb, decided that you were going to leave some items behind, take some stuff with you, and you were leaving the tomb when we ended. So it is still very early in the morning. It's about 5. Dawn is on the horizon, but it's very far off. It's in that weird dark state where it just finished being pitch black, and you can see faint hues of blue off on the horizon as the yellow is approaching. What are you guys doing?
Too real of a description, Beth. That was me this morning.
What's the plan?
Go
Sleep?
back, get breakfast.
Go back to sleep.
It's very early. I don't think that would be the best idea. But yeah, I guess we should make our way back. Did we report to somebody that we killed ghosts?
No. But we were gonna go get the rings appraised at some point today, but that doesn't have to, obviously nothing's gonna be open right now.
Okay, well, let's get some breakfast, and then maybe in a few hours we can do something like that. If that's what you guys want to do, I wasn't.
Dr. Boom and Evane, make history checks for me.
Starting off real
21.
strong with a natural 1.
All right. Well, Evane knows that every sensible person in the world is still asleep right now, so there is no reason why a shop should, in fact, be open. But Dr. Boom knows that Valivor Sundries is open 24/7. Just for whatever that's worth. You've been through weird hours before, and you've encountered him.
When I get up in the morning, I would kind of go about my daily routine in the morning, which is like stretching up to be really limber, doing like this weird dwarf yoga kind of thing in my room. And then he would go over to his little desk that every hotel room has a desk, right, that nobody uses. His is a workbench, and the spalder that's been on my shoulder, I sit there and tweak it and make modifications, and then go down for breakfast after about 45 minutes or so.
So we time skip back to the inn.
Yeah, because you're still outside the tomb.
Yeah.
That'll happen tomorrow. Just kidding.
All right.
Thought it was. Never mind. Sorry.
Okay. I was wondering if I missed like 15
Nope.
minutes of conversation. I just blacked
did.
out. Okay.
We skipped back. Like I said we go back to sleep, and he just was going off of that.
That's
So,
exactly what happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Mhm.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
I think we should go back to the inn, and maybe those guys who said that they were too afraid to sleep in the tomb, we can come back and we can walk in like really cool and go, the ghost that you were afraid of, well, now it's gone. And then we should go take a nap because
Also,
I'm a little tired.
here's your damp bedroll back.
Yes, we should
Oh, you
definitely
did in
put
fact
the
take it with
bedroll
you?
back.
Yes, we did. I
Okay.
remembered.
Okay.
I will not be walking near you. That smells like piss.
Yes. Good thing my constitution is good. So
I will migrate over towards Evane, and kind of not like in an uncomfortable way, but kind of lean a little closer to her, be like, "You smell much better than what Kate is carrying."
I would hope so.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we all do. But have you put on new scent?
No, not anything recent.
It's different than I remember.
Roll for awkward.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, I am the grossest one right now because I was the only one that like actually went unconscious. So I just smell like damp, like gross skeleton tomb, and I'm carrying a pee blanket.
Oh, that's right. I also covered myself in the human goo.
Oh
You
yeah,
To slide in.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, this is all horrible. What happened, guys?
Evane just kind of smiles politely at you, but doesn't say anything about the way you smell.
I'm just gonna climb into my backpack. This is a lot.
Well, we all know that he can make any smell that he wants because he made that fart bomb. So
Good idea. And Evane will take out a little marble and she'll hold it in her hand and it glows blue. And you guys just smell clothes linen and lavender kind of surround us while she's holding this.
So it's essentially like linen Febreze is what you're spraying
yeah,
right now.
it's
A,
like
a
when
downy snuggle ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
when Febreze mixes with another smell and doesn't completely mask it, and you just end up with like that's probably what's happening right now to Cade.
I'm prestidigitating around mine and Kessam's heads, and just to make a breathable air bubble.
Okay. All right. So I assume you guys are headed back in the direction of Red Larch, or
Yeah.
and nobody has said that you're actually moving anywhere. Okay. Who's leading this march? All right. Can I get a
I-
survival check from Evane, please?
Yeah, I would suggest that nobody be downwind of me, so I will be in the back.
Natural 20.
Okay. Making up for her lack of knowledge earlier, Evane remembers exactly where that rock was that she thought was the entrance and was in fact not. And so she starts heading that way, and you guys are able to get back relatively easily to the long road, and always having a sense of which direction you originally came from, where your home is. You start heading south along the long road back to Red Larch.
Where the heart is.
Who's bringing up the rear of this march?
That would be me, because
All right.
I smell like a rear.
Fantastic. Can you roll me percentiles, please? Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it. Oh, she froze. I thought she was just sitting there staring at me, like giving me sass.
No, actually, all of my internet just went out and then came back on. So we're good.
Awesome.
But I would pull that face for the whole time.
I know you would. That's why I believed it.
Keep very still. Maybe she won't react.
So percentiles, please.
Oh, percentiles. Cool.
Yep.
I missed
Bringing
that
up the
part
rear.
in the.
Percentiles. That's why I thought I was getting the face.
Oh no, that was I can't hear anything because my computer froze. 25.
25. All right. You guys have a relatively uneventful trip back to Red Larch. A wagon, a covered wagon with two women sitting at the front at the helm, do pass you at some point, headed south along the long road. And you lose sight of them fairly quickly, but they don't bother you.
I nibble on the cheese bread in my little backpack.
Can you roll me a Constitution saving throw, please?
Yes?
Is Stack lactose intolerant?
Maybe. 6. We're about to find out.
The cheesy bread doesn't do well after a couple of hours. Yeah, you're actually going to be poisoned for the next hour, as it doesn't sit well.
Do we notice?
And I just, like a kid that opens their mouth, and it all just kind of falls out, and then drop it. I'm leaning over the back of the backpack, so it is.
Yeah, but I still need a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage because Kesem is not aware that this is happening.
That's fine. Can't roll a 1.
11.
12.
Okay. After traveling with these halflings for a while, you are aware of their gross and sometimes peculiar habits. So you feel this little movement at your back, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna bend a bit. Nope. And luckily, you are not covered in vomit, and I'm so happy that this is what our game has boiled down to.
Just give a gentle tug on Kessem's ear. Just note for the records, cheesy bread, not good for long distance travel. Does not hold.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Is Yvain over here?
I mean, I wasn't whispering.
You weren't trying to.
No.
Okay.
I thought
So
moving hair out of the way would help, but no, floppy ears.
Like your ears.
it takes
They're
you
fun.
about 20-30 minutes to make your way back to Red Larch, but you make it back safely. I'm going to ask for a perception check from absolutely everybody. Except Stack, yours is going to be at disadvantage. Well, you're poisoned, so it was at disadvantage anyway.
We really got to get this saddle, guys. Oh, Jesus Christ. 2. Okay.
23.
15.
18.
8.
7.
All right. So Faye and Kessam, you notice a weird rumbling beneath your feet. It seems like it's moving. It has an upward trajectory. It starts below and it moves through the earth, but then fades out again before it reaches the road, like the actual physical top of the road. But there was something moving under your feet.
Did anybody else feel that?
Yeah. wa- was that an earthquake?
Felt too small and directional?
Yeah. I don't. Did you guys feel that? That was weird.
What?
Oh. Is it only that floppy-eared people could feel that? I don't know, but it kind of felt like it was like the ground was doing like a wave, but then it faded away. But it was like a rumble, and then it faded away.
Like something was moving through it.
Shall we go inside?
Yeah, that was weird.
Inside?
Yeah, and if that was like an earthquake or a creature or something, I don't know. I didn't feel it all the way up here. Maybe we should ask the authorities or your nice shopkeeper friend.
I mean, I don't know that either of them are good choices for the geology of this area, but we can ask.
Okay, just a thought.
So, are we going back to the inn?
Or to the store?
I mean, currently we are just standing awkwardly in the middle of the road, but
Well, let's keep
We
moving.
should-
Walk and talk.
we should. I mean, if you all do not all need rest, the store is open 24 hours, so
I feel like we should smell probably good before going to him.
This is a fair idea.
I wouldn't mind to stop off at the end, get some food, maybe rest for just like an hour or so, collect our thoughts, clean ourselves, and then we go.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
plan.
Okay. But just so
Maybe-
you know, eventually I'm gonna need some time to sleep because I'm not fun. I'm not fun when I'm tired or hungry. It's just I don't want to get like that around you guys. You guys are really nice, and so we should plan for some point in the day to sleep so that we're not hangry.
Has Vane seen Faye hangry at all?
Absolutely.
Guys, she's serious. You don't want to see that.
I get that.
Just saying. I mean, I am happy to go and show Mr. What's his name with the dreads my fancy new ring, but at some point.
Yeah, we'll clean up, get something to eat.
Bjorn is taking mental notes. To see what happens when she is hungry and tired at a later date.
Like a volcano erupting. Have you seen her horns? Magma.
I mean, I'm a big fan of blowing shit up, so I would
That
like
is
to see that
true.
personally. But I mean,
But you don't like it when like your face is in the way of the blowing up. Which
this is true. But see, I have found that if you can try to direct the destruction, it can be quite beneficial. See,
You're talking about manipulating our friend over here. Am I picking up on that?
I'm just saying. Listen, if she gets mad and blows up when she doesn't have food, maybe if she thinks the person who stole her food is the bad guy. Just
So
saying.
you're talking about manipulating our friend.
I mean, there are multiple ways to different sides to a coin, but sure.
True.
I'm
Okay.
As that conversation is happening, you watch Faye just kind of like drifts to the side of the road. Looks like she's walking towards something, but you don't necessarily know what she's walking towards because she's not walking towards any place we've been before. Until she stops in front of a thing that's just like lying on the side of the road.
So you guys entered in from the north. So I'm gonna ping on the map. You guys are still about a third of the way before you meet the center of town. And Faye sees off to the side by one of these little blue houses, there's a somewhat dirty and carelessly tossed black thing. Looks like cloth.
Faye's just standing directly in front of it, like staring down at it.
Find something?
Oh, there's a thing. I don't know what it is though.
Why did you walk over?
I don't know. It didn't fit the landscape.
Do we know more than thing?
It's a black thing.
Oh, okay.
It's here, and she just points to it and like steps out of the way for everyone to be able to see it.
Hey, go grab it.
Nah, don't.
Okay. And I run up and pick it up.
Okay. Can I have a dexterity saving? I'm just kidding. It is a somewhat dirty and dusty robe of sorts. Maybe you could hearken it to a cloak. And it is black.
Someone had a party,
They lose her clothes.
apparently.
Does it have like a monogram or some sort of like organization or something? Like a symbol?
Yeah, I don't know. Also, it dawns on me that I had to drop the bedroll in order to pick up this item. So I just hold up the item with both hands and I wave it. Like, did it have anything on it?
Da-na-na-na.
Also, is it a human-sized robe? Because it's very large for me.
It is humanoid size, yes. And I'm not going to make you guys roll for anything, unless you want to detect symbols in the dirt and dust. There is nothing emblazoned on this cloak, if you will. Just a black cloak. I didn't hear you.
What?
What'd you say?
You should check the pockets. Are there pockets? It's a cloak. Do cloaks have pockets? I've never worn a cloak.
Times.
Can somebody see if there's pockets? I'm currently holding it up because I can't actually check it, really.
Evane will check.
It's a lot.
Again, not going to make you roll, unless you want to pretend to find pockets, which I'm happy to do. Just a piece of black cloth. Vaguely
What is-
cloak-shaped.
That's
What does the
disappointing.
structure look like of where we found it? Like, what are we outside of?
So, yeah, it's still kind of dark. A couple of houses do have, somebody seems to have an ever lit candle. So there's a fairly large glow coming from this first orange house here. But you found it sort of... It wasn't like anybody was hiding it. It was just sort of tossed off to the side next to a barrel and a wooden crate. There's... you would know from having seen when you passed it earlier, this is a stone quarry. This large sunken mass over here. It is, in fact, Melico's stoneworks. And people with the basest of intelligence could make the leap that this dust on here could have been connected to this quarry, because there's a lot of it in this area.
Okay, so I have a
Did
couple of thoughts that come to mind about the cloak. It's not ours. We shouldn't steal it, right? We didn't recover it from anything. Or we could steal it, and Cade, we could do 2 halflings in a trench coat.
Have a trench coat?
Yeah,
Or did we not bring
this-
that?
this one's bigger. This one's baggier. We can hold all of our gear
Oh.
underneath it.
Interesting.
This is not why this is here, but I am now just going to leave humanoid clothing in all the places so I can see this happen.
Would Evane know if the quarry does kind of some blowing up in the mornings to kind of get the stone to be able to work on it?
For that, you can make a history check. And because eventually we are going to have people watching, we're going to make sure that we are all rolling online.
Okay.
Please. Thank you.
Oh, okay. 21.
All right. Thank you. So occasionally, there's not explosions frequently. When you've been through before, it's mostly just miners moving by hand some stone. And certainly not early in the morning.
Okay, a lot of standing. I'm hungry.
Cloak? Yes. And we can bring it back if we don't need it. It's right in front of the little blue house. Okay. We know where to come back to.
I agree. I could use some food after the tomb.
I agree.
Okay.
All right. So where are you
Guess-
guys going to eat?
Guess I'm
Back
putting
to
this
the
in my
inn.
backpack.
Okay. The breakfast display that was just being put out when you guys first woke up is still there. There's only 2 or 3 other people up this early. All of them sitting by themselves. 2 of them very deep in their coffee. One reading a book. So most of the fruit and little grab and go breads are still available. Doesn't look like people have descended upon it just yet.
As we enter the inn entrance, Yvain stops in front and is like, wait. Everybody give me the cheesy bread.
I threw it out.
That's fine. That's what I'm about to do.
Or we feed it to our enemies.
I ate mine already.
Glad yours didn't go to waste. Yvain will collect it all and anything that's left and throw it out. She also checks to see if the crumble cake is still good.
I will let you choose between a nature and a medicine check.
Was it ever good in the first place?
I thought that
Good
was
question.
rations, technically. Or am I mistaken?
It's a 6.
And we're rolling virtual dice
Sorry. All right.
in the future. So it doesn't look like it's gonna sit in your stomach well, you think? Was this a nature or medicine? Which one did you go with?
Nature.
Nature? And it looks like it might be hard to chew some bits. But you do recall it is technically a ration. It may not necessarily supposed to be easiest on the body to digest.
She lets everyone pass in the inn.
Cass, you can put me down. I have some reading I gotta do. But don't let them skip me with food.
Do you want an apple juice or ale?
Just water. Apple juice or ale.
Yeah.
That is the most hilarious sentence I've ever heard.
That's what
Oh, you
happened
weren't
to
here
me.
last week.
Yeah,
Those were Cade's options.
that was my option. And I put both into one cup.
Oh, nice. Snake bite.
Mm.
So I start wandering over toward a chair kind of in a corner. And as I'm going, I say, can we try to stay here for an hour? Because I really gotta compile notes from the 2 fights that we had. And Kate, I need to talk to you too.
Okay. Can I look around and see if Jared and or Steven is around so I can throw their bedroll at them this early in the morning?
They are not any of the 3 people who are awake.
Guess I'm stuck with the pea roll in the middle of an inn. Nothing wrong with that.
Maybe we leave that outside?
And
think
someone might
anybody's gonna
steal it.
I don't
Wait,
think anybody wants to steal it.
Yeah,
You-
probably not.
You could give it to Kaylessa. She might hold on to it for someone, for them.
That's true.
But she might not want it inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just leave it outside until we see Jared or Steve.
Okay. Leave it outside, and then I go sit next to Cade.
Your Cade.
Not Cade. I'm Cade. To stack.
Beth, just a mechanic thing. If we are going to spend an hour in here, I'd like to do arcane recovery and a short rest. But just let me know if we leave before that.
Okay, sure.
Yep.
And because I am a horrible, horrible DM, I want to apologize for making you guys put away physical dice when I said in the rules that you only had to do digital dice in combat. So I apologize for that. Please keep out your d20s. Rolling real dice is fun. and I'm mean, and I'm sorry.
Unpack.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're
I
totally
was very
fine.
confused.
Remember your
with-
own rules, Beth.
I was like furiously scribbling notes. I was like, I have to recode all the overlays to make sure to include the roll tracker for every scene ever now.
Yeah.
Please do not do that. I'm sorry.
Which I'm happy to do. I just have to know.
So it's only, just to be clear, it's only in combat then. that we're
Combat,
rolling.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
that's when our roles actually show up on the screen.
Gotcha.
So we see
Yes.
the map.
That being
And
said,
physical dice are fun.
we could have it for all social encounters and things if we want to do that. I just need the heads up.
Yeah, if that's what you prefer, because then we don't. If someone misses saying it out loud, then you still have it. Then that's fine, too.
I haven't unpacked my dice yet.
We can talk about this.
Aw, I'm
Aw.
sorry. That's so
Yeah, I
sad.
know.
Okay.
We can talk about this later.
Yep. Yeah.
Just DM shame. Had to own up to my mistake.
You're good.
All right.
You're good.
Back in. I mean, I will let you know when an hour has passed, if you'd like.
So yeah, I have 3 books out. I have a spell book, a little like detective's notebook in the middle, and then another full book on the other side, kind of going through.
Evane will sit next to Stack, and she'll take out her own sketchbook and continue to work on kind of the fire extinguisher she's trying to make.
3 high intelligence characters. We got a nerd corner study group already. Let's get it.
Yeah, and I'll sit over there with you as well. And I won't pull out anything, but I will take my spalder off and tinker with it while I kind of look at your notes once in a while and, just make the occasional comment, not like critiquing, but suggestions.
I'm just gonna put my head on the table and zone out because I don't do these things. And I'm gonna roll my 1 hit die because I was the one that fell in battle last time and I need hit points.
Okay.
To that
if you're
point-
doing that, then we can assume that this is a short rest.
Excellent. Kate, I meant to say something in our first fight, and then you did the same thing in our second fight, and you can't be that far away from me.
Oh,
I know you get excited, and I know you like to smash, but just keep an eye on each other. You're far.
yeah.
A lot.
I thought you were asleep.
I wasn't asleep. I was.
But you were asleep because you were in Kessim's backpack at the beginning of it.
I was.
And-
I was doing things and having a little bit of an episode, but just in general.
Okay. It's not like I can go very far. I have short legs.
Makes me nervous, is all.
Right, I will think about it more. You might have to remind me a couple times because you know how angry I get in battle and I just want to hack everything.
Yeah, I know. That's it. And I go back to working on my stuff.
Okay.
Since Dr. Broom's kind of looking at the sketchbooks and stuff, I'm trying to figure out how to do identify without a focus. And failing miserably at it because the math is wrong. You just see like crossed out equations over and over and over again.
Nice. Well, I see that you are trying to come up with some sort of spell. Do I recognize it at the identify? Like,
It's
do I
labeled.
know what?
It's labeled identify spell.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is not something that I really mastered myself either. I have thought about modifying my lens for that functionality, but thus far I cannot help you.
Yeah, you can't get around this pearl. I don't know why it's a pearl, but I mean it's so expensive. We've never been able to get our hands on one.
Maybe one day if you save up.
I mean, not with the way that Cade drinks, we're not going to be able to afford anything.
I resent that.
You should.
Also, did you get your 10? Did I give you your 10 gold back? I should do that now. From the
Oh, okay.
constable guy, because I took your share because you were doing things as you said.
Thank you.
So you count out 10 gold to him,
Yes.
I assume?
Yep.
You can go ahead and remove 13 gold from your inventory.
That's hilarious. Do I get 13?
Nope. You get 10.
Wow.
Oh, baby.
That was some DM tax.
Oh no, and she's not smart enough to put it together. Oh. Pain. Okay.
What together? What? Nothing.
Out of character, yeah, sorry. You know, the bandit camp. I know I was kind of out of commission there for a little bit, but did we didn't happen to find any stones or gems or pearls or anything like that? Because that would solve all these problems. And this is not just for me. This is something that would help everybody.
We have a jade ring.
Okay.
And
we
an
gave the
amethyst too,
frog
right?
away. Yeah, Dr. Boom has the amethyst. I had the black frog, but the what's his name took it.
Endrith.
No, the sheriff.
Oh,
Mr. Dr. Boom, do you are you going to use the amethyst for anything?
Harbrook.
thank you.
Constable Harbrook.
Yes, I have idea to try to make small little mechanical familiar, not familiar, a little mechanical creature helper. I have found that I can use the crystal to. It is hard to explain, but yes, I have plans for it.
It's a power focus, a conductor. That makes sense.
Making an animal out of a
Yes.
rock.
Okay.
Sort of.
What about that ring?
I do not have ring. I don't
You
need it.
can you can have it. Vane will pull it out, the jade ring out, and give it to Stack.
Well, just hang on to it for now. But if there's a pearl at Mr. Dr. Boom's friend's shop, it might be worth the trade.
Sure. I mean, we're going there later anyway.
You do realize that Dr. Boom is not my name, right? It is like an alias. My name is Bjorn. We are friends. Please call me Bjorn.
You prefer Bjorn?
I mean, it is my name. Dr. Boom is my initials, but it is like stage name, right? Like alias. People know me as Dr. Boom, but
I see. Okay.
not
We
the
get
name.
stage names.
Occasionally.
Mr. Dr. Bjorn from here on out. Put my head back in my notes.
You
I
see
also
Vane,
have to make a conscious effort now to call you Bjorn because I have you labeled as Dr. Boom everywhere.
It's Bjorn on my character sheet too.
It is, yeah.
Vane is writing kind of with her left hand in her sketchbook, and she kind of like, you see her wrist flexing a little bit, and she puts her pen down, or pencil, and starts to just kind of fiddle with the joints a little bit in it.
With
Something
the
hurting?
artificial hand.
Mm-hmm.
Something hurting you in there?
I honestly probably need to oil it a little bit, but I didn't bring any with me. We kind of left in a hurry.
I take
I
a thing
have
out.
extra.
Oh.
And I pull some out of my pack. I always carry it. I've been working on this contraption for my shoulder. I have extra.
Thanks. And she'll kind of put it on her joints a little bit. Hands
It's
it
no
back.
problem.
Goes back to writing.
All right, so an hour at least has come and gone while everybody is doing their own little thing. A couple more people come down for breakfast. A young family with obnoxiously cheery young children come bounding down, and they make a ruckus. And the food table looks decidedly less orderly after they stop by. But how long do you want to hang out here? Is this your plan for the day?
Do we see Jared and Steve anywhere?
I
We
mean,
might not be able to give them their roll back.
Jared's probably eating a sub somewhere.
I mean, I'm down to
Please take a
roleplay.
point of DM inspiration.
I'm down to roleplay a full 18-hour study session in a pub, but maybe we should not.
Yeah. Stack, make
This
sure
is your
that you eat.
story. I just do background. So whatever
I
you
don't know,
guys want to do.
I was promised a lecture on the mathematics of divine versus arcane magic.
This is what you guys tuned in for. Aren't you excited?
I have a 2.5-page Word document in case you tried to do this to me. So I am ready if you want to go.
Stack, make sure that you eat.
I take it back.
I forget to eat. Yeah, no, I'm in the thralls of my arcane recovery and the notes and everything.
So after like an hour, and after Cade tells Stack to eat, Faye stands up and goes, "Okay, so we've eaten, and you guys have done some work, and I feel better. So let's go do something. Let's go see Mr. Endrith with his dreads and his sparklies, and we can see about the pearl and the rings, and we can just say hi."
Did Faye have more coffee when we came back?
No,
Oh no.
but she just rested.
I definitely had more coffee when we came back.
Oh, yeah.
Kaylisa keeps it very well stocked, so you can have as much as you'd like.
Yeah, it was the first thing Bjorn grabbed when he came in was coffee.
As we're walking out to the shop, I'll just quickly say, two things. One, we should ask him about the tremors, just in case he knows anything about it. And two, we should go back to the billboard posting with like an advertisement. Kind of like how Mr. Dr. Bjorn does with his business cards, and we'll say, "Ghost Vanquished," and where to find us. Because people need that kind of work. We seem to be pretty good at it. No?
You know, that is it is good suggestion. I maybe we do a picture with a with like a red circle and a cross, like crossing out the ghost.
I'm sorry, for copyright infringement purposes, we have to nix that in the bud right now.
I like this. We could call it Ghost Cancelers.
This is
Bad name
this is
for a
good.
group of people.
I think you're onto something.
Lucan Instrumators.
I like the idea, but we shouldn't. I don't want to be a ghost canceller. It sounds like a chancellor, and I'm not a chancellor.
Breaker? It doesn't matter. We'll workshop it.
Smart idea. Another way to get money.
Getting your spookin' spruikin'.
I like it.
We're heading back to the... Yep.
I'm walking on my own this time.
Between the time that you came back for your second breakfast, and now a light drizzle has started. Not enough that, the couple of people who are getting their day started are walking around with umbrellas. Most of them seem to brave this little bit of rain that's coming. But it has begun to rain. And it takes you not long. It's a very small town, about 15 or so minutes, to reach Valivor Sundries.
On the walk,
There's-
can I take a minute to pause and see if I feel any more tremors?
Yeah, absolutely. Make a... I'll just do perception again. Make a perception check.
19.
You sort of focus yourself downward. You've communicated with trees before. You know how to almost push yourself into a space that is not occupied by your physical limitations. And the ground seems still. There's a few rumbles from people who are walking across it. There's a couple of carriages that are passing through. So there's a little bit disturbance there. But there doesn't seem to be anything moving below you like you felt before.
Got it. As we are walking in the rain, you see Faye just like kind of dancing a little bit as she's walking.
You liked fire, not the rain.
Sometimes you just gotta embrace it, you know? And she does a little spin and then keeps walking.
Are her horns just steaming right now? Just like,
No.
no.
I'm immediately back in the backpack with the start of the rain, and I take the big black cloak and like pull it out and try to do like both of us and just fashion it over while Kesum's walking. It's a
Okay,
it's a symbiotic parasite. It's not just it's bidirectional.
You can absolutely do that, but you are making more of a mess than you would have acquired by walking in the rain because of how dusty this cloak is. And that has now transferred to the both of you.
Points for trying.
I'm gonna go back as I see that. I'm gonna go back towards Yvain. Stack has given me an idea. What if? Do you think we could make a device that like opens a cloth to hold above you, to prevent the rain from getting you? Because this is well, it's kind of shitty to be honest. I don't like feeling like this.
I'm pretty sure that Mr. Entrith had one of those and he called it an umbrella.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I was trying to be creative, but it's early.
That's okay. His was broken, so maybe you could fix it.
I believe
I
Yvain
fixed
already
it.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was not the
Yvain-
idea I thought you were having. I'm sad.
I was creating an umbrella, but I totally forgot about that.
To be fair,
real
his
tired.
did not have a metal base. It was just a wooden stick with cloth. Almost like an Asian style umbrella, right? Where it has the wooden poles that come in and you move the circle upward, is how his was made. So you could potentially create a collapsible umbrella for the first time ever.
That's what I was thinking, was one that like we
yeah.
have nowadays that pops
Yeah,
up.
you push a button and it goes boop.
Yeah.
Yvain will say, "Yeah, you can work on that," and she just flips up her hood on her cape and keeps walking.
All right then.
Furiously casting prestidigitate. Sorry. I meant it to be better than this.
This is why
Uh,
I'm afraid of
I'm not observant, but even I can see that that is an awkward conversation.
I just kind of try to occasionally wipe the rain off my little lens.
When you guys arrive to Valivor's, he has a couple of wooden, they're like post sign size with lanterns stuck on top, oil lanterns, and candles are going. And he has one of those little signs that says, "We are always open." But it's hanging in a window off to the side. The front of his shop is still very ramshackle. And there's a little bit of noise coming from inside as you approach. Sounds like a couple of people talking and the movement of something heavy.
We'll walk in.
Yep.
Okay. You guys walk in and you see Endrith standing there. He has a almost 7-foot long by 2-foot wide and maybe 3-foot deep box, really ornate box with a lid. And there's two gentlemen who are helping him move it. down into one of his numerous rooms. He looks up when he hears the door open and goes, "Boom, my friend! Welcome back."
Good morning, Andress. Endrith? The TH,
Yes.
Endrith.
right?
With a
TH.
TH, yep. Because why would it be an easy name?
Right.
Ever.
We have returned, and we have some items that I think you might be interested in.
He visibly lights up. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Give me just a few moments. I gotta get this back into room 3, but I'll be with you in just a moment. And he goes around one of his corners, and it takes about 5-ish minutes for them to seemingly put in place whatever it is that they were carrying. But he eventually makes his way back out. Are you all still there? Or did you go poking around? Okay.
Yeah.
With him are these two gentlemen. One with a really big, bushy red beard. Human. Bright green eyes, and he pat Endrith on the back and says, "Thank you, my friend. I'll see you again next week." And the other one, who's a bit shorter, he has some pointed ears. Elaine, you are positive that this is an elf. Bjorn, you are well aware that this is a fellow half-elf. And he has long brown hair, reaches about his shoulder blades, pulled back in a half ponytail. Really deep brown eyes. And he has a scar that crosses his nose and comes down his left cheek. And he glances at you all, looks over at his companion, looks over at Endrith, just gives a silent nod, and they both leave. So, my friends, how may I help you today? I can't remember if this is what I sounded like, but this is what I sound like today.
That's like the worst thing. I can never remember. Yeah.
I hate it. I should have gone back and watched the recorded episode since we do that, and I didn't have time today.
We have just cleared out a bandit camp as well as a nearby tomb, and we found some interesting
Boom!
items.
Boom! We talked about the bandits, right?
We did, my friend, but I disagree with you vehemently. I'm sorry.
It was good business sense.
It may have been good
okay.
business, but it
That's
is not good for the kindly folk.
All right.
And apparently
All right,
there's
well-
many more. Many more bandits.
Sorry, what young thing?
Apparently there is many more bandits as well. So everybody got
Oh,
what they wanted.
well. We shall see. Hopefully, well, let's see what you brought. Maybe this will cheer me up. What do you have for me?
Does the ornate box not cheer you up at all?
Oh yeah, no. I ordered that 3 months ago. And it finally came. I'm so excited. Yeah. But I do like to sell things occasionally too. That is how, I live.
Yes.
I
What-
don't pull out the stuff, right? Rings, and I forgot what all we had.
Faye looks at him and goes, "You showed us your sparklies last time, so this is my new sparkly." And she takes the ring off of her horn and holds it out.
That's lovely. That's lovely. May I?
Yeah, sure. And she
Okay.
hands it over.
He takes it. And let's see. He pulls out a little you know, like jewelers will have those little magnifying glasses. He has a little tiny black one, and he pulls it out, and it sits right on his eye. And he brings the ring up and peers at it. Well, this is fine quality. You know, I haven't seen, you know, especially with the 2 different bands of metal wrapping around. Yeah, that's lovely. Are you wanting to know how much it would cost wholesale, or what I'll pay you for it?
How about you start with how much it's worth, and then you tell me how much you'd pay for it?
About 15 gold pieces.
Insight check.
Okay.
For the worth.
Yeah. Okay.
11.
Doesn't seem unreasonable. Maybe a little bit low, but you've never hawked a ring before, and 15 gold is quite a bit.
And he's got to resell it. Oh, yeah, it tracks.
So it's worth 15. How much would you give me for it?
A one-of-a-kind piece like this? 10?
That sounds like a little bit of a lowball to me. I think that more like 13 would be what I was willing to. Nope, not even 13. 14. Yes, you said it's a one-of-a-kind piece. It's a one-of-a-kind. You'll never find another one like it ever again. With the 2 bands. How about 14?
You make a very persuasive argument. How about you roll me some dice, and we'll see how I feel about this.
Oh, I rolled the wrong die. Hold on.
This is like every episode of Pawn Stars.
I just linked it in chat.
Nice. All right, 19.
Will.
Oh.
Meanwhile, definitely 2 of a kind.
Shit, get some.
Shh. Evane
Do you say
bumps
that out
Keston
loud?
so
Just
hard.
thinking it. Just thinking it.
Okay. Because you're a friend of Dr. Boom, I'll give you the friends and family rate, and 13 gold is. I do have to make a little bit of a profit, you know, and things tend to sit for a while before they move, so the extra gold is just, you know, handling fees. So 13.
She looks to Evane to like see if she thinks it's a good swap, or if she should do it. It's a deal. And she puts her hand out, asking, like, waiting for the gold.
Yes. He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out 13 gold.
I'm immediately
Thank you,
putting that
young
into my
lady.
inventory, and then she goes, "Now, what if I told you that it was actually part of a set, a lover's set? Would you be interested in another one, just theoretically?"
$10 gold.
Now, we've been through
12
this
gold.
before.
$9 gold. For this one-of-a-kind item.
It is a one-of-a-kind set.
We settle at 11.
8 gold.
10 it is!
You already got
10
the
gold.
13 gold. Evane's not handing over anything. She's like, this was all theoretical.
All right.
Out of character, maybe we just put Faye in charge of party funds, because respect to the hustle. Like,
That's awesome. Yeah.
We also have another ring. Faye, do you want to tell him about this one? And she pulls out the Jade Ring.
Oh yes, this is I don't know if this one is one of a kind, because there's lots of jade things and I've seen other jade things in my travels, but you know, this is a very beautifully crafted ancient jade ring of the finest quality, and it's a really good size. It could fit yourself or your lady friend or your whatever non-binary whatever race creature gender however, unless it was like a big one, maybe it wouldn't fit them, but you know what I'm saying. It's a very versatile ring. And she puts it on and she hand models.
All right, now I need a deception check because he is insighting checking you.
Like watching the Home Shopping Network.
This.
Just QVC. This one-of-a-kind piece. I don't really know what it does, but it looks fabulous.
Yeah, he got a 13, so he's gonna go, well, this ancient gold I have in my pocket, we'll see what sort of deal we can come to. Can I take a look, please?
Yeah, and she hands it over and she goes, if anything, the jade is worth something at least.
He's gonna pick it up and take a look, and flips it over a couple of times. He rubs a little bit off of a corner. It looks like it was smudged a bit, but he sort of nods as whatever he was rubbing comes away. Goes, you have a good eye, young lady. My accent is all over the place. The gem is worth more than this band of silver around it. I can't really sell the story you're trying to hawk, but 15 gold. I could probably sell it for about 18. We both leave happy.
She turns to Van and goes, this one's yours.
And that is with the friends and family rate. Okay, we've already been through this.
She'll give it.
Okay. And he'll exchange 15 gold.
She'll hand it to Yvain. Or to frickin' Faye.
Here you go, Yvain. Thank you, Yvain.
Thank you, Yvain.
He actually reaches under his little work area, his desk, and he pulls out one of those ring display cases that has the little slots in it. And he puts both of them in this little box and then puts it back under his desk. Anything else? Feel like we're on a roll.
I had one point of inquiry, actually, if you don't mind.
Of course, young thing.
I'm not that young. I need a pearl. For casting purposes, needs to be worth 100 gold pieces. But with the friends and family discount, I would imagine you would only charge us about 80. These are your words, not mine. So, I was wondering if you had anything like that.
Son, I can keep an eye out for you if you'd like. Are you staying in town?
For the time being, I guess. I suppose.
I mean, if you want to take a look and see what you can find, but I personally haven't seen a pearl in a while. Managed to find one. You can have the 95 gold friends and family rate.
Well, if I gotta go look for it, then there's labor fees included, I'd imagine.
No, you get to experience the joy of a good hunt. That's priceless.
So you are a good enough salesman to sell Faye's story about the ring. Curious. Thanks, though.
Start so young. Anything else?
What did you finally get sent to you?
Something I've been waiting a long time for.
Is it something to help your shop?
I think I'll keep this one for myself. Yeah.
Okay.
That is fair. You cannot always bear all your secrets immediately. I do have a question for you, though. It is actually unrelated to your goods. On the way in, we felt a large rumbling in the ground. Do you know what could be causing that? Our friend here thought that something was maybe moving.
Hmm. Well, I haven't felt anything. I had some guy come through last week who said that he heard about moving stones. To be honest, I just thought he was a little something about read in the future in the rocks. And where they move, they can talk to you. I've never been one for listening to rocks, so I didn't pay him much mind, to be honest.
He just
There-
came in to talk to you? He didn't do anything else?
Oh, no. He needed some new clothes. He was a bit dirty.
Dirty with what? Like dirt, or like was he like sweaty bo dirty, or was he like what kind of dirty?
I don't know, dirty. He didn't smell. He just looked dirty.
You see Yvain look at the cloak that Kessam and Stack are wearing. She slowly has wheels turn in her head. Okay, thank you. And kind of gestures for the party to leave.
Well, it was good seeing you again, Endrith. I hope we can do business in the near future.
Absolutely, Dr. Boom. Anytime. I'm always open.
Keep an eye out for that pearl. I'll pay a holding fee if you keep it.
Done.
Pleasure. She bows and then she winks at him and turns towards the door.
Anybody watching, he grins widely and winks back.
As they're walking out, Faye runs to Yvain. It's like, I'm sorry I sold my friendship ring. It doesn't diminish our friendship at all. We don't really have a lot of money right now, and I thought it would be good if we had some money so that we can like eat and sleep but don't worry, I'll make it up to you. We still have yours, and we can do something fancy with it.
Yvain, in the middle of that, as she's going off, just kind of like grabs her hand and it's like, it's okay. I know. So, the cloak, I'm assuming we're all outside now.
Works for
Yeah.
me.
So
It's
the
still
cloak,
drizzling, maybe a little
Yeah.
bit harder than it was when you first entered, but not the downpour that you guys experienced on your first day.
Okay. So Crazy Man's at Stone Quarry trying to read stones?
I can't talk to rocks.
Oh shit, the cloak.
Mm-hmm.
That's
What?
The cloak was covered in the mining dust. That's two in a day. That's weird.
I mean, he clearly is clothed, which is good, but maybe we should see? Maybe he knows what's the rumbling about?
Couldn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, and we could poke around a little bit before it's open.
The quarry?
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't really trust people. Like even that guy. Kind of weird about the buying and selling. I mean, I get trying to make a living, but it seems like lowballing a lot and highballing a lot, and then I don't know, weird.
Vane looks at Bjorn and it's like, well, he's your friend.
We are not friends. We'd call him more of a business acquaintance.
We're friends.
We are friends. That guy, he is a necessary link in the chain, if you will.
He
Right.
seems to think that you're friends because we got a friends and family discount.
This is how.
He doesn't need to know that.
Correct.
not.
This is how trading works, my friend.
I wouldn't know.
So we'll go.
Also, you did a really good job of holding on to your money in there. Proud of you. Jade.
Oh, to be honest, I forgot I had money.
You will forget this conversation ever happened.
I have money.
Oh no, that was a spell that I cast on you. Don't remember
Oh.
now.
Really?
Hmm?
I didn't feel anything.
Good spell.
Wow. Okay.
Vane will turn to Faye and say, hey, your festival skills are really paying off. You did a really good job at haggling.
You know, you just gotta drive a hard bargain, and when they don't take it, you just gotta smile and wink and make yourself look cute. That always, those guys are always just, they get distracted by your feminine wiles.
Yes.
It's much easier for some of us than others.
Apparently, Endrith is particularly perturbed by them.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got that sense.
Worked out in our favor. So where's the quarry?
North.
And west.
We'll lead the way.
It's about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning by now, and there's quite a bit more traffic than you had earlier. There's the sound of roosters actually cawing. Quite a number of chickens are expressing their displeasure, or maybe their pleasure at getting breakfast, but not by being woken up. And maybe not Cade, but Stack would notice that the chickens aren't just coming from up ahead to the left. There also seems to be another big source of chicken sound coming from somewhere. There's a number of horses making a bit of commotion as traders are coming in and out of town. So it takes you a little bit longer to get to the other side of town just because you have to weave in and out of people. Most of them not paying you guys much mind as they stop suddenly. So it'll take you about 30 to 45 minutes to make it to the quarry. At which point there's a big sign out front. Make sure I tell you the name correctly because it's another fun one. Melico Stoneworks is how we're going. I'm sticking with it. Melico. Mellikho. Melico Stoneworks.
That is definitely not how I spelled it the first time.
It may not be how I said it the first time, but that's how it is officially. Melico.
Cool.
There's a giant slab of like builder stone almost, just chalk white. Nothing fancy about it, and it's been carved into, engraved almost with the name Melico. And those are just resting on two like cut logs. It's not very fancy. There is a, I don't know if you can see on the map. Where's my mouse? Here it is. Let me zoom in a bit for myself. Right at this intersection here where I am pinging is a little tiny house. It's more of a cottage. The grass is really weedy around it, but there is a well-worn path from that house to the entrance of this quarry. Um, and there's a little sign in the front window that lists business hours as opening at 10 a.m. 10 to 6.
Maybe they're early risers.
Okay, so that begs the question, do we want to go into the quarry without permission, or do we wait? Or do we wake him up, or... Part of me also feels like we stole his cloak.
I don't know if the guy that talks to stones is the one that owns the quarry.
Oh no, I definitely think that they're different people, but I mean, it's a black cloak covered in dust, and we are at the epitome of dust. So,
Well, if you think about it, we found this cloak right outside the house, right next to this house. So we technically found it really close to this house. So if we knock on the door and say, "Oh, we found this cloak. It looks like it's from the quarry, and this is near the quarry, and it was right outside," they can't really get mad at us.
Evane wants to see if there's anybody currently in the quarry. I know it's probably a big area, but is anyone, like, moving a figure or something like that?
Make a perception check for me.
Okay. 16.
There appear to be 2 small children. They're kind of far away from where you're standing, so you can't quite tell how old they are. But they're chasing each other through some of the rock piles. But that's the only movement you see.
I'm getting some Hercules vibes up in here.
Yeah, pain and panic.
Well, it looks like they're in there right now.
So we're just trying to decide whether to knock on the door. Is that? Am I
Permission.
tracking?
yeah,
Or
If
kinda.
we're- yeah. Or break
or
in.
the trespass in the quarry, yeah.
Oh, is that all? Then I start to move forward. Anyone can stop me if they want, but
Nah, I'm gonna go with you. Start heading to the quarry.
Okay. And we're going to take our break there and come back and see what happens. We'll be back in like 5 to 10-ish minutes.
Cool. Let's show the map real quick. Beth, you want to ping where we are immediately? Up here at the top corner, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Right before you enter the quandary. Quandary. Ha!
The moral quandary.
The quandrous quarry.
we found our quarry.
We are actually
We're about
in
to
the
go.
quantum field. Take
Oh,
20
no.
points of psychic damage.
I'm tired of you
Well,
giving
we're
me
dead.
psychic damage, Beth. I'm just gonna put that
I know,
out there.
I'm sorry.
I
I
might
haven't given you any in this game.
I might refuse
Yeah.
if it ever happens in this game. Just no, I'm not doing it. Make it thunder or something.
All right. So welcome back. We are all a little bit fuller. So thank you letting us take our bathroom break and get some snacks. So last we left you guys, Cade and Bjorn were making their way downtown, walking fast. People passed, and you're homebound. You saw a couple kids playing at the far end. I will ping it for you. The far western side, running around some rock piles, and have decided to go investigate for reasons, apparently.
Do we make a clarification? Are these kids or are these my kind of people? Or do we not know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ah, okay.
You
Okay.
think it's all kids.
Yeah.
Well, Yvain's a racist, so we cannot determine this until we get in
Wow.
there. Don't say
Wow.
wow. She tried to feed you apple juice the other day.
That was me.
Oh.
Yeah.
That
Fuck you, Kendall.
The asshole in the party was the one trying to do that.
And you
yeah,
said
Yvain was
wasn't
the
a
only
person.
person
Who's
who
the
gave me
racist
ale.
now?
Yeah, also, yeah, Kendall, poor Kessim has to lug you around.
And you said she wasn't a person.
Yeah, she's a pack
Yeah.
animal. I don't know. Like,
Kendall, do you have any DM inspiration?
I do not.
Good. Then I can't take it away from you.
I'm kidding, Alexandra. I love you very much. Please do not hurt my small boy.
Oh, but no, sorry to me. No.
No. Fuck you a lot about the music thing earlier today.
All right, so you guys are entering the quarry. A couple kids running around. What you doing?
Trying to remember how many hit points Stack has.
Following Cade.
Like 6. Don't do this to me.
Okay. So Cade, what you doing at the quarry?
I don't know. There's a lot of rocks, and everybody was talking about rocks, so I'm looking at the rock.
Okay, sure. Make me a nature check.
Cool. That's a 5.
Well, congratulations, you found the rocks. There are some big rocks. There are some small rocks. There are even rocks that are smaller than you.
Whoa,
It makes you feel big. Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Bjorn, can you make pets out of these rocks?
Pet.
You were
oh.
making a pet thing out of a rock. Can you make them out of these rocks? We could have a lot of pets.
You know,
A
listen,
lot
I
of
actually
pet
could collect
rocks.
them. I have these little stick-on eyeballs back in my room that I could stick on the front and draw you a face if you want a pet.
That sounds fun.
But unfortunately, no, not what I was talking about. But we could try to market pet rocks. I wonder if Endrith would buy some.
Maybe. All kinds of stuff. Especially if we make Faye sell them. I'm sure she can figure something out.
Yes, I believe she could sell ice to a polar bear.
What is a polar bear?
Never mind.
Is it a bear that has a pole in it?
No, it is a bear that lives in icy regions.
Then why is it an icy bear?
It's that's a good question.
A snow
Um,
bear.
While we are here, why exactly are we here anyway? We're
I
looking
don't
for
know.
rumbling thing underground, yes?
Yes, everybody was hesitating and I didn't like it, so I went forward. So, I don't know.
Shall we go talk to the children that we saw?
I mean, I saw nothing, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, did she mention that?
Mm-hmm. Yvain pointed them out.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of rocks here. Let's roll down that way.
Okay.
For initiative? Sure.
No, I was trying to make a rock and roll joke, but it didn't work.
Got it.
We'll head that way.
Yeah.
I will.
I'm not
Anyway, I don't know about.
sure about Cade. She's pretty focused on these rocks.
Okay.
But Bjorn, it's pretty easy for you to see. There are two, to your eyes, appear to be humanoid children. 2 little girls, playing tag down at the far end. But you are free to move further in.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to, kind of go like skirt, kind of go through the middle and try to avoid all the rubble and stuff. I would imagine there's like paths that you would walk on, or equipment would be.
Yeah, they have a couple of dedicated pathways, a bit more paved than the rest of the area.
I will kind of approach, trying to be non-threatening, approach the children, and I'll pull out a couple little like poker chips, basically, And I will use my magical tinkering to make them both have flowers that look like they're blooming over and over again. And I will approach the girls with them.
Okay.
Kinda hold 'em out.
One of them comes careening around this rather large pile of rock, and sees you and does like a running stop and puts her arms out. She goes, "Oof! Hi, hi. Don't tell Melissa!" And runs and stands behind you.
Okay. He'll smile.
What's a Melissa?
Huh?
What's a Melissa?
Oh, did you all follow?
Yeah, are you there?
Apparently.
I'm happy to have you be
Yeah.
there. Okay. This little girl grabs Bjorn's pant leg and like looks around it and then looks up with wide eyes and goes, "Oh, I'm behind you." And runs over and stands behind your legs. And she whispers, "Melissa's that way." And
All
sure
right.
enough, another little girl comes running out from behind the rocks. She has blonde pigtails that are braided, pulled back, and she's giggling. And she has a couple, like a fistful of little teeny tiny rocks. And like she sees one, she stops and she picks it back up and starts running again. And she stops and looks up at all of you, and then looks around and looks at all of you. Do you see Cassie?
I will I'll try not to say anything, but I'll kind of go,
"I got you!" She yells, and Cassie starts giggling and starts running again as Melissa chases her.
children, if you may, if I can interrupt your game for a second.
Cassie again stutters to a stop, and she looks over, at which point Melissa rams into her, and they both go flying. But they are giggling and then get back up, and Melissa's like, I got you. Cassie's like, "That's no fair. The grown-up said stop."
I will kind of kneel down in front of him and kind of give him the little tokens that have the blooming flowers. And
Their eyes go so fucking wide. You've never seen eyes as close to being saucers as the eyes of these two little girls.
Awesome, yeah. So he will we were walking to town earlier and we felt like the ground move beneath us. Does that happen around here occasionally? Like a shaking?
So Cassie starts shaking her head, but Melissa starts nodding, her little pigtails flapping. Like, sometimes. That I've never felt it. My daddy, he said it's the earth being scared.
Really? Where is your daddy at? We would like to talk to him.
Oh, he's still sleeping.
Is he in that little house at the corner?
Oh, no. We live over there. And she points vaguely to the west. We're supposed to be collecting eggs, but that's boring. And they both like start giggling.
I agree. Go back to your game. Thank you for talking to me.
And then Cassie like bitch slaps Melissa. Like, "You're it!" And takes off.
It seems that her father is asleep. He may be our man who talks to rocks.
Interesting. Do we know where the father is?
She said he was over in a house over there to the west somewhere. I don't know exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, but he might have said that's the earth being scared the way you say that, like, the sky is sad when it's raining.
Yeah, it's a parent withholding the truth in order to appease the kid. So maybe the father knows the truth, right?
This is good logic.
It's kind of like how having 10 siblings makes no sense. And they just tell you stories.
Evane will lean over to Faye and say, do you want to catch up with them and ask to play with them and see where, they go? See if they lead you back to the house?
Yeah, I could play tag. And then she chases after them.
It takes them a couple of moments to realize that you're playing. But as you begin to chase them, Melissa, who's still sort of lagging behind Cassie, turns around and she starts giggling really loudly and then freezes. And her eyes go wide again. She goes, how do I get legs like those?
What? That's the thing, I don't really know. I just kind of was born like that. But Melissa's not the one with pigtails.
Melissa has pigtails, yep.
But
CrossFit's the answer.
I don't really know how to get them. But how do I get pony pigtails like yours? I love your bright blonde hair. It's so beautiful.
I can show you. And she starts like unbraiding her pigtail, and it's a hot mess. Cassie eventually comes over, looking kind of grumpy, but she was never caught. While Melissa is trying to braid, it's obvious to you that she is not the one who does her hair, but she is very proud of what she has created. It is, I think the technical term is a rat's nest, but she is very, very pleased. And she stands there proudly.
Wow, that's beautiful. Can I play with you guys?
And Melissa runs forward and like pets your leg. You're it. And then they both take off.
I follow after.
Okay. Yeah. You make me an athletics check.
Roll for tag.
4.
4. These are some fast fuckers. You don't remember kids being this fast. You get a bit winded, actually. You thought maybe you were gonna have to like pretend to not be able to catch up, but the way that they are like leaping around corners and over small rocks is actually really impressive to you.
I stop and like off in the distance see Van, and I just look at her and give her a sneer, and then keep jogging towards the children.
Evane will actually join in and be like, oh, it's on. And she runs towards Faye to be tagged so that way she can play.
I tug on Kessam's ear while all this is going on. I could knock one of them to the ground from here.
No.
This seems like a waste of time.
No.
I look up at Stack and Kessam, and I'm like, I've lost the plot. What are we doing?
I was waiting for a quiet moment to listen again, but if you would like to run around and not throw spells, you can do that and leave your axe on your back.
Well,
I shouldn't try to make them dance, and I'll reholster my gun.
Really not. Okay, I won't touch the axe unless there's a spookin'.
Even then, maybe wait.
Yeah, fine.
While they're playing tag, maybe we poke around in some of this rubble? Or is there like mining shafts or anything? Or like a place where like the tools are to where they're like currently, like the project is like underway?
So you can make an investigation check.
Sure.
Can I help him? That's what I was going to try to do too.
Yeah, absolutely. You can have advantage.
You want advantage or you want to both do it? Bjorn?
Well, it depends. Are you working together or are you both looking separately?
I mean, I figured we'd kind of just be walking along, like skirting the edge is what I would be doing. So.
Sure. Yeah, I'll roll it.
All right.
Thank you for the... Oh, wait. That's a 1. I'm going to re-roll that. Natural 20. For a 27.
You gotta love halflings. Yeah.
Evil cackling.
So it's very obvious that the modus operandi here is to move out, not necessarily down. So they are digging a wider and wider hole as opposed to digging deeper and deeper. So there's no like entrance into a mine that you can find. There are, however,
Before
there's a.
before you
Go.
keep describing, it's a 26 for the total. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but
From the 27?
yeah.
Okay, well then forget everything I just said. We'll cut this in post.
Fair.
Everyone pause for editing.
I messed up, so I just wanted to be honest, I guess.
I appreciate the honesty. In this particular case, no, it does not matter.
Okay.
What does catch your eye, however, and it's purely by accident, it is as Yvain and Faye are chasing these little girls around that you find a girl jumps over a rock and her shadow doesn't hit right. Like, it should lay flat across the ground based on the position of the sky. It should extend out behind her, and it sort of dips down a bit, and just a sliver of her shadow disappears.
I point that out to Bjorn immediately. Hey. You see that? Did you see that? Just for a split second.
Yes, it looked odd.
Here, Kessim, put me down. Climb down. Start walking over that way. Is there anything like I'm just kind of like waving my hand where it is, looking for anything like physical, like something that would have bent the light or blocked it, or a secondary light source?
It's when you approach this spot, the shadow still laid across the ground, but it looked like a sliver of the shadow fell away. And as you get closer, there's a couple of small rocks, but nothing. Typically, especially like this tomb, there was a large stone impeding your way. And from storybooks and stuff that you've heard about adventures, you anticipate like a hidden entrance to be a bookcase or something that you physically move out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this looks like it has been taken great pains to blend in to the world around it. And you start moving away this little bit of stone, and there's a hole. Just a hole. But it starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then as you look down, you see that the hole is actually about a 5-foot drop to a wooden door, square slab of wood. At this point, Melissa comes running around the corner, giggling, and then she runs to a stop, but she sees what she's doing. She's about to jump over you, and sees that where she was about to land would not have been beneficial. And goes, "What's that? You found a secret hiding spot?"
It is, but I don't think you should hide down there. It could be dangerous, little one.
But they wouldn't find me!
Yvain
right,
runs up
wouldn't.
behind and is like, "I got you."
And I'll wink at Yvain.
And she turns and she starts running again.
And I'll kind of like nod thanks to Yvain, and I'll take one of my I'll just take a random rock and use magical tinkering to make it glow and kind of drop it down the shaft.
It falls about 5 feet and then hits this wooden door, this wooden cover, this platform.
like a trap door that opens up
Yeah,
type thing, or
it's
like a door that's
horizontal.
sideways? Okay.
I mean, you don't see an obvious latch, but it potentially could move down, could move up, if
Okay.
you could figure out how.
I'll look the stack.
Do you want to? You can lower me down.
Yeah, that'll work. I was going to suggest Stack do that, but because he's so small. But yeah, I can lower you down.
Well, I'm curious as well. I want to go down.
I'll pull out I have a bit of rope, I believe, in my inventory. I think. Let me see. I think I have rope. I do. I have 50 feet of rope, so I will roll some rope out and find a rock to kind of secure some of the rope to.
How does jumping mechanics work?
Confusingly.
Very confusingly, yeah.
Uh,
So
I
I'm
have-
so I'm 5'10", and it's a 5-foot drop. So theoretically, I could just lower myself into the hole, right?
If you go
So-
in D&D Beyond and click your speed, a little thing will pop up on the side and it'll give you all the long jump, vertical jump, and all those rules as well.
Okay, thank you.
It also
So
depends
moving
on-
only 5 feet, I don't think I'm going to make you roll for anything.
Mhm.
10 or more, absolutely, there would have to be some sort of check, or you'd have to have something that gives you this ability. But for 5 feet, you can just drop down.
She's gonna do so.
Okay.
I'm gonna tie the rope around myself. Cade,
Yeah.
help!
Oh, okay.
Just lower me down.
Yeah, I will lower my brother down.
Okay. As this is happening, can I get the only one not actively working on this is going to be Kesem. So can I get a perception check from you, please?
Wouldn't Faye as well?
She's playing tag.
Dad.
Oh, okay.
It's Dad. It's only a 7.
Okay. So yeah, you were watching your friends play tag and or crawl into a hole.
I was actually gonna say, I know we're in a dirt, like a stone area. If there's any patch of grass she can sit on and kind of do a little meditation thing on the grass and try to suss anything out with her.
You'd have to go back to the entrance to the
Yeah.
quarry. Yeah.
I'm useless
There's
with
none
rocks.
here.
It's not my natural environment. I'm
I'll-
used to trees and green.
I'll pull out my dagger, and I'm like hands and knees on top of this door, and I'm trying to like almost like excavate, like an archaeologist, start picking away to try to widen it to see if I can get a semblance for latches and like where it starts and stops if it's not completely exposed.
Do you guys
Okay.
see anything down there?
Just the door.
Is your light still down there?
How many times do I have to tell you that this is not a playground?
Dad's awake.
Around the corner, at the entrance to the quarry, comes a very grumpy-looking older woman. She's a bit stout, kind of on the short side, and about as wide as she is tall. And she has like a hairnet almost, keeping this mane pinned back. She is wearing slippers and a robe. And she comes out and she's waving a book around. And she sort of pulls up to a stop as she sees all of you. What do you think you're doing?
I am investigating a hole in the ground. What are you doing?
This is my land. What does it matter? Get out of my quarry right now.
Well, we found this cloth outside on the ground. It was covered in stone. We thought maybe someone here it would belong to, but we almost tripped in this hole. I would not want to have to report you to the town master for neglect of your land. I mean,
Deception check, please.
oh, I have to roll digital. I forgot.
No,
Oh
you
no,
don't.
You-
Uh,
Not in combat.
11.
You know what? How about you and I go over and talk to the constable together? I think that sounds pretty nice, don't you?
I agree. He's a great man. I did some work for him earlier today.
Wonderful. Let's go.
My
And
friend.
she like squints and she goes, Cassie, Melissa, go home. And they both like giggle and start running away.
I'm gonna kind of look around at everybody else, like, a little help here.
Come on. Come on. I don't got all day.
So, we were coming to find you, and then Cassie and Melissa came and made us join their game of tag. So I was off with them. I don't really know what else is going on, but we really meant no harm. We just came to return the coat.
She looks at it. Are you holding it? Who has it?
Stack does.
Last I heard, Stack had it, and
Well,
he's not there.
I
Put
put
it on
it.
Kesem.
I put it on top of
Yeah, he put it
Kesem and
on
was hiding
Kesem.
underneath it. Yeah.
She looks at it and looks back at you all and looks at it and goes, "That ain't mine. Get out. Get out, or let's go talk to the constable."
Sounds great. We were just leaving.
We were, but what about the trimmers? I thought that was.
Oh wait.
We're still in the hole. Can she see us?
You're in a hole. I'm holding you currently.
Do I not hear this or?
Beth.
Are you asking me? Yes.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
Yeah.
She's rather loud.
But what about the trimmers? It appeared to be coming from underground, and this leads underground. Doesn't she want to know?
And when he says that, I'll look up at the lady. All right, listen. If we're being honest, we felt a earthquake or something, or a tremor underground. We saw the cloth here. Heard some mention of a man who talks to rocks. Came here to try to find someone, and we found this hole. That's why we're here.
Uh-huh. Persuasion check? Because you're being honest, I guess.
That is I rolled a 2, and my persuasion is a -1, so that's a 1.
Uh-huh.
A dirty one. Yeah.
A dirty one.
Dirty one.
So you felt an earthquake and some trash on the ground at the same time, and that led you to believe what?
Well, actually, if we're being real here, Mr. Bjorn here did not feel the earthquake. Us floppy-eared friends, we felt the earthquake, and
I don't
if you
care.
notice,
I don't care.
okay.
Let's go. Let's go.
It felt like there was like something moving underground, like
Fine. I'll go get him myself. And she turns
Oh.
around and starts marching back east out of the quarry. Determinedly.
Honestly, I think that's the best course of action because I feel like something really weird's going on here.
I agree. Let's go through the door while she is gone. What do you think?
Or do we want to go talk to the man?
Well, the man's coming, so let's get through the door in the meantime. You want the fast way or the slow way?
No, the constable's coming, not the man that talks to stones.
No, that's the man. You know, the man, like you work for the man. No, we're on the same page. It's that man.
Gotcha.
we figured out what man talks to stones yet?
Listen, if that is his wife, I don't. She's very unpleasant.
I mean, I don't think it is, but I don't know. Let's go down.
Okay, suit yourself. Wait, we're doing this fast, right?
A bell starts ringing.
And we should leave.
quick question, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. How do we feel about destruction of property?
Bad.
It is my specialty.
Very bad.
Excellent. And I fire
What?
3 magic missiles into the trapdoor that I'm standing on.
And I will fire a firebolt same time from my gun.
We're in a hole!
Nope. He said it.
We called it. Yeah.
Attack rolls
We're
and
just
damage,
gonna
please.
collapse a mine on ourselves. It's fine.
Just the door.
We're
You
about
guys
to-
weren't particularly attached to these characters, right? Like,
No.
I rolled an 8 to attack a door. Apparently.
okay. Roll me
Oh, I have to roll
percentiles,
on here.
please.
Oh man, you're gonna hit stack.
Percentiles. I don't have any.
And
Oh wait,
I'm
hell.
killing.
I don't even have those out. Here, let me roll on D&D Beyond.
I have 10 force damage into the hole.
It was
if that
nice.
matters.
It was nice knowing you guys.
Don't worry. If anyone gets hurt, I still have 8 good berries
Uh,
left.
24.
I'm sorry, points of damage?
Was that percentiles?
Percentile, yeah, 20. I rolled 2 D100s on D&D Beyond. That gave me a 24.
Can I have a dexterity saving throw from Evane and Stack, please? And can you roll me damage for your spell?
Absolutely.
Me?
Yep.
Okay, my firebolt. All right. 3.
18.
17.
Okay. So, these magic missiles hit the wood and it starts to crack. And Evane, you start going down. Stack begins to tremble and fall as well, thus pulling his sister. Strength saving throw, please.
Come on, baby. Do it for your boy.
It's an 18.
All right. You dig your heels in, and you are able to plant yourself, and thus your hanging now brother off of undetermined amount of rope. We didn't say how far apart you were. But he can see off to the side, while this firebolt missed its original target, the door itself is now beginning to smolder and smoke a little bit. Evane, you take... What did you get, a 17?
Yeah.
All right. You take 7 cut in half, and we're going to roll down. So 3 points of bludgeoning damage as you land in a dark room.
Ow.
2 things. Cade, lower me down. Second thing. Mr. Dr. Bjorn, if you could throw a rock down here so we could blame it on that and not us, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's no problem, and I will do exactly that.
Bigger the better.
The rock will explain the fire.
Mechanical question. I know you sent 3 magic missiles. Did they just hit the door, or did they hit us?
No, it's the door. They're
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to
no
roll to
miss.
attack for a magic missile. Yeah.
Okay.
Your boy don't miss.
Style.
Faye peers over and sees the smolder and turns to Bjorn and goes, "If we do fire, we do it together."
You're right. I'm sorry. It was he suggested destruction. I got a little excited.
It's okay. Next time, it'll be both of us.
Agreed.
Evane will take her marble and light it up. It's a blue light that emits a 5-foot radius, and see what's in the room.
And I will-
for people to come running after us.
Sure.
Wayne, I hope you are okay. I'm sorry.
You hear nothing in return.
Evane, you are in what can only be described as a wine cellar, for it is a room that has 4 walls with shelves holding wine.
This is wine.
Oh.
Huh?
We
It
are
is-
the bad people.
It is wine cellar. Is it good vintage?
Is it bootlegged?
Evane checks.
Dangling in space.
Stack's
Can I
like,
get a
"Give me another
perception check
snack."
from Kesem, please? And Bjorn, were you going to get a rock?
I mean, there's rocks there. I was probably just gonna kick one over, I guess.
Okay.
I need to dig my dice out. It was a 10.
Okay. Keep an eye out. Bell, you do
Nothing
notice off in the
fire.
distance the bell is still ringing.
I have a 14 for passive.
Okay, thank you.
All right, there's nothing here besides wine that we broke into, so we should leave.
Okay, Cade, pull me up.
Already?
Grab a bottle.
No!
We could share it later. In jail?
Going
Vane
there anyways.
hesitates, looks at the wine, and then thinks better and starts to climb back up.
All right. So you fell 10 feet, but
Yep.
there is a ladder off to the side. You can. I won't make you roll to climb a ladder. It is a
Wait,
wooden
where did
one
the ladder come from?
Under the door.
Under the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Cool.
was destroyed. It's sort of like built into one of the bookcases.
Okay.
So you can climb up it. But the door is now officially caught on fire. So you have to, I will say you can take your time getting around it. And can I get another strength check from Cade, who's pulling up her brother?
Okie dokie.
Dak, this is a good time to use prestidigitation.
I know. I also only weigh 30 pounds, if that matters.
That's a 13.
Yeah, you're fine.
On the way up, exactly as Kessom recommended, I prestidigitate to try to put the fire and the smolder out to where it doesn't look burned as best I can.
You can put the flame out. But there are scorch marks on this door. You can maybe get away some of the edges, but there's definitely some darker marks on this door that were not there before.
Damn it.
PM, Mending
Yeah.
wouldn't check that. Wouldn't fix that, right?
I don't know.
I was about to say that. Hey, you fix things when you get
I
up. When you get up here, just try. We might be in a lot of trouble.
And then we run like hell.
Wait, what?
I don't.
I'm on.
Just
Yes.
Of course.
fix it. We talk our way out of it. Easy peasy.
We face the constable head on. He knows us. He likes us.
No, he doesn't.
I don't think he likes us.
His
He
wife
tolerates
doesn't
us.
like us. But
His wife doesn't
DM.
like me. Maybe I should go somewhere else?
I'm casting Mending.
Okay.
You know what we say?
The burn marks disappear, and the broken pieces of this door fly back together. And it looks like it had never been touched.
we
All right,
say
let's go.
I will
that the little
quickly
girl.
give a hand to Yvain.
She'll take it
Okay.
and then punch him in the arm.
Ow, I'm sorry. Use your other hand to punch. That hurts.
No, you deserved this arm.
That's fair.
Faye hands you 2 good berries.
How much is that healing?
It's 1 point for each one.
Oh, bless. She'll eat them. Say, thank you.
At this point, Kessom, you can hear that there seems to be some sort of commotion coming from the south. It's a bit louder than just the sounds of townsfolk coming and going that you had heard previously.
We need to leave now.
Do we try to go find the man, the rock-talking
Yes.
rock man? Little girl studies to the west?
Wait, are we running? Or are we talking to the constable?
We are.
We're getting out of here.
We're
Okay.
not talking to the castle.
I climb up and hop in backpack.
Okay, let's go help the girls get the eggs from the chickens, and maybe they'll show us where the man is.
No. We do not go back with them.
Okay, then where do we go?
Where do you want to go? Cassim.
We completely ignored the cottage at the entrance. They're from way on that side of the quarry.
So we want to go the opposite way.
If it's coming from the south, the sound is coming from the south. Maybe we want to go north and then maybe a little bit east towards the long road.
Hey, less talking, more moving. Let's go!
Yeah, they're probably still there. Come on. You hear the sound of the angry woman from before.
Children
And
said he was to the west.
Yeah,
footsteps approaching.
Evane would try to run west to follow the kids back to their, she would let Faye lead because she saw them.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
where I'd go to.
The kid, this is, as you descended further and further into the quarry, this bottom section on the west is probably a good 80 feet below ground level. So the kids would have run back up through the entrance to the quarry, to then get to wherever home was.
Okay.
So
And
how are you all leaving?
You said, can you ping where where the sound was coming from?
Somewhere over here along the long road.
Only one way in.
Yeah, we're gonna get bottlenecked.
That's fine.
Here's what we tell them. We tell them that the girls were playing tag, and just like one of them did, they almost fell in the hole, so we went in the hole to save them. It's not a lie, it's the truth. She jumped and she almost fell in.
That's true.
Also,
Coming around the corner, you see the angry, stout woman and two gentlemen who they are not the constable that you met, but they are dressed in the same clothing of the ham workers employees. And they both have knives in their hands out, dual wielding. And the woman marches out and she goes, "You're not very smart, are you?"
I have been encouraging them to leave.
I take offense to that comment.
I mean, 3 of us are probably smarter than most of the people in this town, but,
Faye walks forward and puts her hands up. She goes, "Hello, fine gentlemen. It is very nice to make your acquaintance. We just did some dealings with your dear friend the constable, and we came to the behest of 2 young children who are in danger. I'm sorry for any misunderstanding. As you can see, everything looks just as you would expect it to, and we will leave now as we were requested to do."
I pop out from the backpack. That being said, this place is a hazard. There is not proper signage or barriers for the children playing in here. You should really look into that.
All right. Can I please get a persuasion check with disadvantage from Faye?
G3.
Let's go!
All right. So, one of them relaxes a bit, and he obviously stows his two. One's clearly like a cleaver, a butcher's knife, and the other is just a really large kitchen utensil. But he stows them, and he takes a kind of half step back to look at the side. But the other one, who is much closer to this woman, also relaxes. He puts one of his knives away, but he keeps one out, and he's more playing with it than anything else. But he looks at you all. He says, "Yeah, all right. But y'all caused quite a stir. I mean, the bell still. We don't like to hear the bell. It's not even 8 o'clock in the morning, and you got the bell being rung." And the woman off to the side is like, "We're just gonna let them go?" I was like,
I mean, we did not ring a bell. We were over here.
"No,
we
but
were
your
not
actions made the bell ring, right? I mean, come on." And you've upset this woman. This is her place of business, her home. I mean, you're clearly trespassing, right? You can't talk your way out of that one.
Well,
Yeah.
chasing kids, and this is actually a perfect explanation, Kessim, of what we were talking about earlier about disproportionate response. when an action happens and somebody does something not warranted by the original action. Hence, us chasing kids, coupled with bell ringing.
We apologize and we'll be out of your hair, ma'am.
No. I'm going to give you 2 options. That young fellow right there can spend the next 8 hours, we'll call it sobering up, in the hanging room.
What young fella?
Or the little one.
Hmm.
That's kind of...
Eh.
Or you do some work for me.
I just kind of slide down into the backpack and start hyperventilating in a little plastic bag. Well, I don't have one in my inventory, but now I do.
I'll allow it.
Decision on these 2 things. What kind of work are you looking for?
Well, you got me out of bed 4 hours before my shift began. So
She did that.
we've been over the fact
Yes.
that the fact that you all are here caused this reaction.
I
Right?
totally understand. So what would you like us to do for the 4 hours that we've taken from your day?
You can do what I was supposed to do. First thing is go check out the reports of a weird guy hanging over by Lance Rock.
We will
We can do
absolutely
that.
do that for you.
Yep.
Can you let us know where Lance Rock is, please?
Yeah, sure. And he stops playing with his other knife and he sticks it away and nods to his buddy, who reaches in and pulls out a map. Apparently they have brochures and maps of Red Larch now. Pulls it out of his pocket and he sort of flips it open. I think I gave you all a handout of the greater Red Larch area.
Mm-hmm.
Red Larch surroundings.
Mhm.
Yep.
Make sure I tell you the right spot. Lance Rock is located off of the Larch Path, sort of southeastward, in between where all of those rolling hills are.
Could you give that one more time? Because I just got the handout up for the stream.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are looking at the map of Red Larch surroundings, the Larch Path branches off from Red Larch and goes southwest. And if you follow that path, there's a bunch of rolling hills. And Lance Rock is a cave system that is located right off the path on the southwest.
You mean east?
East. That's what I said. If you heard it, you heard wrong. It was east. Southeast.
Awesome. Okay.
That map just is giving me the worst Blair Witch vibes.
So there's no
Oh,
river.
wow.
There's no river near the Lance Rock where there might be Lance bass.
Oh, gee.
Wow.
That took some of you so long.
Beth, just kill her. Make her roll a new character. Like,
Nope.
It was so much.
That comment was so in sync with their character. It was amazing.
What you did there.
Thing. That's an Alex thing.
Beautiful.
I don't care. I don't
Work
care.
of art.
I
Work
allow
of
it.
art.
You know, I met him at a Burger King one time. For real.
Okay. Because we're only going until like 9:30, I have to stop this. But you are
Okay.
sharing this story.
Remind me, I will.
Okay, I
Until
will
you had to
absolutely.
say bye.
Oh my god. Okay.
Don't worry, guys. We will do a Twitter video or a TikTok of Will's story later.
And also
Meeting
of us
Lance
doing
Bass.
bye.
My gift to our 2 viewers is me not singing. So you're welcome. Okay. So this gentleman hands over the map and he points. He goes, da, 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 hits the map, not not ferociously, not forcefully, but just assertively, like. There's a word that I'm searching for and it's not there. So just
Aggressively.
no, it's not aggressive. It's just matter of factly, like right here.
Gotcha.
He goes, find out what's going on there, come back and let me know. And we'll call it square.
Can do.
Where should we find you once we
Oh,
have
and
some
obviously you
place
will
known?
not enter this quarry and disturb this woman again. That goes
Can
without
do.
saying.
Mhm.
Yeah, I work at the butcher. You can find me there.
Okay. I have one question for you though. If we happen to see this man and the man wanders into the quarry, do we have the authority to continue to follow?
Oh.
No? Okay. I'm just asking. I'm just
No.
asking. I wanted to make sure that we can do our job to the fullest extent that you expect us to.
And the woman is off to the side. She's like,
I apologize for all of them.
I
Do you
wish
want us
you
to
would
bring him
just
back to you?
leave.
Right now.
And we will do that right now. Okay, everybody. Let's go. Let's
just-
go.
I don't even know that there's someone there. Just look into it, okay?
Okay.
Just go. 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 Why are you go? Go. Go.
We're
Go.
leaving.
Go.
I did not appreciate him threatening my brother, and so I look up at him and I say, "You deserved the farts," and then I walk away.
And the one who was like still trying to read the sign and see if there was any cautionary warnings about children, looks at him and goes, "Hey."
Oh, we're already
Just,
gone.
yeah,
we're already
we're
gone.
Oh my god.
I was gonna ask if they knew any holy sites, but nope, we ruined that.
Hey,
I'm never finding a
don't.
temple anywhere.
don't threaten Stack with a hanging room.
You want to lecture me on the difference between arcane and divine magic? You are getting a lecture on Saluna.
There was a joke there about saying bye to all three of them, but I didn't take advantage of it.
That's true. There were 3 of them.
Stack is having a panic attack in the
saw that.
in the backpack right now.
Yeah, poor Stack.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said
You
he
made it a
deserves the farts.
stat.
I did.
You made panic attack a stat, an
I
ability check.
I did. I did.
A skill check. That's awesome.
Man, why not?
That's like the distraction you made with Cass.
My Cass, yeah.
What'd I do with my siren wings?
I'm assuming we're just going straight there to the
No.
path
Yeah,
and follow it down. Yep.
because I bet you
you're
that
doing?
guy is talking to rocks down there.
Down
Maybe
the
it's their
large
dad.
path we go.
Guys, this has been a long morning.
It's like
And
8 a.m.
Yeah. So long.
are you tired?
Yes.
Would you
I
like
don't
some
know
more
if I
coffee?
can even get angry anymore. I'm so tired.
I will pull out the thermos that Evane gave me. Would you like some more coffee, Kate?
Yeah.
And I will
Thanks.
pour her some more.
You. Slightly bouncier as she walks forward.
That's not a halfling amount of coffee.
It's a fulling amount of coffee.
Is there a way I could fashion my cape to be a temporary kind of like you're not this small, but kind of like a wrap that one of those babies is in and you sit like they sit on your back.
A
Baby
swaddle.
Bjorn?
A
A
swaddle.
literal baby Bjorn.
Yeah.
I thought the baby Bjorns were like a jumper
They're a
kind
cradle.
of thing.
I thought they
Yeah.
were a cradle.
No,
Okay.
Bjorns are like when they stick their legs out of the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a seat.
What were those
Okay.
things called? My wife had one. It was a big long wrap thing that she just wrapped around
it's
herself.
Hold
I'll
wraps.
just-
Or like the koala wraps.
I thought
Yeah.
Miranda said a swaddle. Yeah.
It kind of
Yeah.
is a swaddle.
I'm trying to figure out what to make you roll for that, like a tinkering check.
Can I do an inventiveness check?
Sure. We're playing fast and loose. Why not?
Wait,
This-
are you
if-
trying to put me in a swaddle mid
If
panic
this is
attack?
if
No,
this
I'm-
is for, is this,
I mean-
if this is for me or Stack, it's
Yeah.
gonna be an offensiveness check that you're going to have to roll.
For both of us, you will
For
catch.
both of us.
If you try to pull me out of Kessim's backpack,
You try and put
violence.
us
It is PvP immediately.
You're gonna get smacked to the face. That's what's gonna happen.
Never mind
I
then.
have calm emotions. I need calm emotions.
I was gonna offer to carry and have you rest on my back as we were walking down the path, since that seemed to be a long way, but never mind.
No, thank you.
Fine. Alright.
Fine.
A Moby wrap. That's what they're called.
Thank
The,
you.
the one that we had was a
Yeah.
Moby
Thank
wrap.
you, Google.
The level 2
Yep.
spell, calm emotions. Got it.
Yeah, God.
All right. Who is leading this trek?
Who has the map?
I have the map, I think, so I guess I am leading the trek.
Go forth.
All right. Can I have a survival check, please?
Absolutely.
I'll give you advantage because you do have a map.
Sure. Okay, hold on. I rolled 20. Went out on me. Hold on.
Okay. Well, I see a natural 1.
Thank
thing you
God
get
for
advantage.
advantage. Yeah.
Did roll 20 go out?
Yes. It's
Damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had internet
Here,
lag.
folks.
a natural
worries.
20.
Yeah! We've had
Okay.
so many back and forth rolls. I love this.
That's the third 1 to 20 tonight.
Yep.
Tonight?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
We need our own stats team.
Sweet.
Okay. So yeah, with no problem, you know, maybe not particularly these wilds, but you know how to find your way. You've done it your whole life. So very confidently, without even referencing the map, more as just like a point of reference when absolutely necessary, you are able to find what is very obviously the largest of all of these. You're past a number of cave entrances, but you don't give them any thought. You walk right past and march up to the largest one that you find. And this surely must be Lance Rock. Now, this is a general disclaimer to both players and watchers. I messed with this map for so long, and I cannot get the grid to be perfect throughout the entirety of this map. So a couple of times I am going to have to realign. So if I ask you to pause for a moment, it's not me springing a trap on you. It's me realigning the map.
Perfect.
So it took you guys probably about 45 minutes to an hour to make your way out here. It was a fair hike. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. Sun has fully risen. Dew has left the grass. There's you've heard a few birds as you were walking, but it got a bit quieter the closer you got to this cave entrance.
I'm going to unholster Pearl.
Okay.
And as we begin exploring, I'm just going to have it ready.
Okay. You have Pearl ready.
Kessim's gonna swing her backpack around the front. Are you coming out now? Guidance.
Nice.
What does that look like?
Come on. You can do it.
The D4. Oh, the yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good. You need me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'll put my head out and kind of resaddle the top of her thing, but it's a tight hold on the ears. It's not as comfortable. It's a little nervous.
I'm gonna braid my hair. The ears are becoming a problem.
Evane will take out her crossbow.
Yep, I got my axe out.
Faye pulls
All
out
right.
her shield.
I have a quarter stash.
All right. In front of you, you see a cave mouth. It does open up into darkness. It's kind of hard to see past where the sunlight naturally hits. There seems to be a breeze actually emanating from the cave, and it has a very distinctive odor to it.
Can I try to see what the spell is?
Make a nature check. Yep.
$16.
Right. Yeah, you unfortunately do know the scent. You've come across it a few times. It is the smell of something that has long since died. The smell of decay and death.
I
Fair
love that
warning.
Alexandra is actually braiding her hair.
Yep, I keep hair ties at my desk.
Fair warning, this kind of smells like death, unfortunately.
I also have
Well.
tiny throwing knives on my desk I can put in my hair also.
Well, where there's death, there is fighting. So,
I can try to light the way for a little bit.
Stack, isn't that one you know?
Is that what you need me for?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who's leading?
I can.
Perfect. And I just literally do that. Just a violent point at you, and light hits you straight in the forehead, and it's a headlamp for you.
Nice.
Nestle back down.
What does it look like? Is it literally just a light emitting like a unicorn horn, or like
It's it's like a snap, and I flick my finger like that, and this little blue beam hits your forehead, and then all of a sudden it's a legitimate head, like a miner's headlamp.
Okay.
And so when you turn, it moves with your vision. So 20 feet bright light, another 20 feet dim light.
Damn. Sweet. Evane will lead in.
Okay. So inside the cave, it appears to be a natural formation of a cave. Doesn't look like it was carved out by man or a humanoid. The floor and ceilings are uneven, and the passage leads to the west, narrowing as it proceeds. And I'm trying to get you some more visibility here. You also see directly up ahead is the corpse of a human man who is sprawled here on its back, just sort of splayed out. And it's only wearing a pair of leather breeches.
Can I go? I want to go over to the body and just look around to see if I can figure out like what killed him.
Sure. How are you going to do that?
My thought was I would kind of go up and with my toe, kind of like poke at him, kind of move his clothing around, try to investigate and see if I see any like wounds or anything immediate.
Sure. You can do that. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
23.
Okay. I'm just gonna move you here. Because as you poke him with your toe, he starts to move. Let's roll for initiative.
Okay.
Oh
that's
no.
fine.
Oh, no.
Real dice, everybody.
Whoops. Dang it. I
The
rolled a 14.
the
I'm gonna,
digital.
digital.
roll again and then fix it. I actually got a 14.
Six.
All right. This is not going to be a surprise round, only because it is going to take him half of his movement to stand up. So we are just going to begin at the top of the order. He moves kind of slow, but he does sort of flips over and pushes himself up. Do we have everybody? 5, 6, and Mr. Dead Guy. Did that not work? Let's try that again.
Should be Rob.
My extension isn't working. There
It
we
just
go.
went in. Yep.
There we go. Okay. So, first up is Cade.
Cool. So this is a full-on zombie, I guess. So I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna smack it with
Has
my.
Cade ever seen a zombie before?
No, but it looks like a spookin. So
Okay.
I just think it's another spookin.
Okay. Fair enough.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I can get up to there and I'm gonna smack it with my great axe.
Absolutely.
Because I am all out of rages, y'all. Is a 12
Alright.
hit?
A 12 does in fact hit. He's only wearing leather breeches.
Ooh,
13 points of
13
slashing.
points.
All right. You hack into him and you cut a pretty sizable chunk. Just like a slashing line straight across the chest. And you've hit a number of things before, most of them living. And usually a blow like that would cause blood to start pouring out. This thick, it's still crimson, but it has almost like a green hue. Starts to sludge its way out and like glops, as opposed to a smooth flow that blood would typically have.
Ew.
Stack, you're up.
Still recovering from my panic attack. I'm gonna raise up my hand and pull out my crystal and fire a little beam, and the ground around him comes and grips his ankles with necrotic energy. So I need a con save from our
Sure.
boy.
Dirty 20.
Oh, absolutely saves. That's the turn.
He doesn't even try. He just sort of like accidentally moves his body in such a way that the attack misses.
Sure.
Evane.
Evane is going to move up and get a clear shot at the zombie with her crossbow.
Cool. Do it. Well, the good news is he's mostly naked, so that still hits. With the 9.
Huh! Sweet! Okay.
How much damage does your
Damage.
crossbow bolt do?
Oh! Max!
Okay, and how much is that? Just in case people are listening and not watching.
10.
All right, how do you kill him?
You see Evane essentially, pull back her crossbow, aim, and then fire, and it goes straight through his eye and like pins him back into the wall.
Okay, he, with the momentum of that shot, is pulled back, and his eye is completely smushed, pinned to the wall, and he just sort of sags there limply. And more of that reddish green goop emits from his wounds. Good job. You killed a thing.
We solved the zombie puzzle.
You can go home.
Bjorn, do you want to get any of that goop?
No, no.
Oh, because it worked kind of well the last time, but I get it.
It did, but the other goop was different. That is zombie goop. It is not useful for me.
Okay.
Evane will go up to retrieve her crossbow bolt and put it, wipe it off, put it back. But before she wipes it off, she kind of wants to inspect to see if it's like an infection that's the green part, or if it's just like normal decay and rot.
Sure. You can make a medicine check.
Man, those were two
16.
really high rolls. Sorry.
A 16?
It's okay. Yeah.
Tell me, has Evane fought zombies before?
She hasn't fought zombies, no.
Okay. So you're not quite sure what this is. You have come across a dead body before, and maybe it was childhood curiosity, maybe it was a dare, but you've poked a thing or two that has been dead. And even after, a week or so of death, it doesn't have this unnatural green shine to it. Certainly nothing natural caused this to happen.
As she inspects it and kind of wipes off her arrow, she'll turn to the party and say, "So, in my mom's shop, I've seen a dead body, unfortunately, but none of this substances come out of the body like this. Not naturally, anyway. Something's wrong with this one."
What kind of shop does your mom have?
Medicine. She can't say everyone, unfortunately.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I was distracted by that.
This just isn't natural. It's nothing that I've seen that should come from a dead body.
Wait. Yes, get a little bit closer. We should give Alexandra power over my token. Just throwing that out there.
Sure.
Can you kneel down?
Yes.
All right, done.
Ooh, now this is dangerous.
E. I would like to. I have a couple of necrotic spells. I'm curious if this was raised, by the area that it's in, or by like a necromancer or like a person.
Okay. So what are you gonna do?
Arcana or investigation? I don't know. Religion? Up to
Okay,
you.
so you are okay. Okay. You make an Arcana check for me.
Ooh, super good. Dirty 20.
Okay. So you have practiced magic for a while. You play around with it. You even try to break it sometimes. So you have seen lingering effects of magic on other beings before, and this green hue is definitely magical in some sort of nature. You yourself have never brought anything back to life for any amount of time, but you can make the educated guess that this thing died and was risen for a purpose to be determined by another person.
Yes, thank you. And I'll just kind of tap her nervous tick, whispering in her. So this just to cast. This was raised by an individual. Yeah. we might have a caster or somebody with power that's very beyond mine. Moving forward.
I just gave a 40-foot radius around Evane to indicate the light. Technically, it would be more lit up depending what direction she's looking, but for the sake of ease. See.
Do
Okay.
you want to tell them, or do you want me to?
I don't know.
Why don't you try?
Yeah, I got 2 different skills for it. Okay, so here's the thing. I know there's a lot of rumors of like stuff going around in the area about the environment and the storms and stuff like. This particular individual was resurrected by an individual. It's a very clearly magic with a purpose. It is not random. It is not weird. It is. This is for a reason. There's somebody behind it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good job.
Yeah. So we should be expecting more of them? Is that what you're saying?
I don't
Probably
know.
safe to assume.
I don't know.
Well, let's keep going. And Evane will turn and start to lead the way.
I'll follow.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm opening up the map more so you guys can see. All right, so as you approach, there is a round, high ceiling cave that opens up in front of you. As you get closer, I will just reveal this for you in a moment. You can see that it actually has 2 openings off to the side that are very narrow. One leading, technically you guys entered and we're heading westward. So one leads to the north. There's a directional marker down at the bottom left if you get confused. So one leading to the north and another to the south. This gray oval shape here is a flat boulder. It sits in, it says in the center, but I put it there because I can do whatever I want. It's about 6 feet across and 8 feet long, and 3 feet high, and dark stains color the top of it.
So that's what this is right here?
Correct, yes.
And this
You
is
said
the
it's-
stalagmite or
Yeah.
flag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And we'll say that that stalagmite reaches all the way to the ceiling.
You said it's
Nice, so I
covered
was
in
gonna-
dark stains?
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
Can I want to go look around it and kind of try to determine what the stains are made of if it looks like blood.
Sure, absolutely. Okay. Can I please get everybody to freeze? And I will have Evane, Cade, Kessum, and Bjorn all make dexterity saving throws, please.
18.
No, that was mine. You're the 6.
6. Damn.
Hate when that
9.
happens.
Yep.
12.
Do I need one on the back, or am I eating whatever Kessim's is? We can talk about
no, you can.
precedent in the future, but I'm just for now.
Yeah, we will talk about what we're going to do, but for now, just make your own.
You got to get the mounted combatant feat because it's funny.
I need a
That's
saddle
so
first.
mean.
14.
Okay. So everybody except Evane and Bjorn are able to, with their peripheries, notice that something isn't quite right as a couple boulders come flying from the ceiling. Yvain and Bjorn are so focused on the slab and getting towards it that they don't notice two zombies standing on a risen walkway, dropping rocks on top of their head.
Rude.
At which point, you both take some bludgeoning damage, and we will begin combat as soon as I'm done opening up this area for y'all to see. Building tension is what we're doing now. Okay.
They singing we will rock you. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, ma'am.
They no longer have vocal cords, at least not ones that are strong enough to make those noises.
They can
That's
boom
okay.
boom slap though.
That song was designed for audience participation.
All right. So you both take. Oof, that's rough. 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh,
I'm
Look.
out.
Out.
No shit.
All right.
Drop us both.
And you are technically knocked prone, but you are dead. And Yvain is knocked prone. Do your little kneeling man. I still gotta get those icons from you, Will, at some point.
I forgot. Yep.
Okay. This is technically a surprise round. So we are going to roll for initiative. But before we do that, these two zombies are going to jump down, and they also take some damage because they are not graceful about it.
Oh, it is right behind me.
Hey, Beth, would it be appropriate to move Stack into Custom's square?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just trying to get the zombie to come aboard.
Sure, we can do one of these.
Yeah, no worries. That's just why I asked. Well, I mean, technically, like, for all intents and purposes, yeah. Okay, nice.
Do you want me to move closer to where I would have been hit?
No, you can stay there.
Okay.
She's like outside
I would
the
have
room.
just dropped it off to the side. It's not. There's no. The walkway is above, so
Okay.
they can see both directions.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Zombie
Lord.
needs. All right. Do we got everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Stack. You are up. Your hero and role model has fallen.
I wasn't going to do this, but now that you said that, yeah, I'm going to jump. I'm going to jump down, actually, and I'm going to plant myself, straddling.
Acrobatics check, please.
Yep. Oh, don't fail me now. Let's do it in combat.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Okay. So you
It's a 9,
catch
by
one
the
of
way.
your feet. Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, we need to practice
sorry.
saying
Yeah,
it out
that's
loud.
me. That's me. Yeah, 9.
Your foot gets caught in one of the straps of the backpack, and so you sort of trip your way out. You were going to take 1 point of bludgeoning damage from your fall.
Okay.
But you sort of catch yourself on the ground, so you'll only lose 5 feet of movement as you push yourself back up. You don't technically fall prone.
that's good.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll take a defensive stance, kind of like straddling his body a little bit, and standing. And I will cast. Hey, let's do it. I'm gonna cast Magic Missile point blank at him. So a little orb comes up and close my fist, and 3 projectiles just fire straight at him.
Okay. The only spell you can do that in melee with no feet. Go right ahead.
Mhm. Nice. For a total of 11 force damage, I believe. Yeah, force damage.
Okay. Sort of like the anti-Neo. He takes the bullets almost in slow motion. And is pushed back up against the wall. And just sort of leans forward again.
Trying
Cade.
to be cool and mimicking a martial arts stance. I just pivot and draw a line in the sand and move back around, ready for the next.
Oh,
Okay. For shits and giggles, roll me performance.
Beautiful. Okay. We tried hard. It's a 4.
It looks adorable. You look like a little kid on Halloween pretending to be a monk. It is so cute.
I'm here for it.
All right, Cade, you're up.
I look at my brother horrified, and because he's in melee with something, so I have to run over and attack the thing that he's in melee with, even if I'm going to get an attack of opportunity from this thing. So, that's what I'm going to do. Right.
Okay. You are in melee.
Cool. Did the one that I moved away from get an attack of opportunity?
Yes, it did. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's why it's the dumb move, but it's my brother, so.
Well, these are dumb creatures and missed horribly with a 6. So,
Score.
you're
All right.
good.
Yep, I'm a swing with my axe to defend my brother. Why did I roll in person? That's a good question. Oh! Natural 20.
Damn, Cade's doing some work tonight.
Same.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me percentiles again for shits and giggles.
That's my sister.
Percentiles. Ooh, problems. That's a 14.
Regular crit, and it looks like that's for what, 18 points of damage?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I'm trying to figure out what it did because it has a +5 to it, which is not right. I think it rolled with my rage damage, which I'm not raging, so it should only be a +3.
Should be.
So it would be 16 instead. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how would you like to kill it?
Yes.
Run over, axe in hand, and I'm like, Stack, what are you doing? You're not supposed to get close to things. And I'm like yelling at him, but I swing my axe over at the zombie.
It's Mr. Dr. Bjorn!
Oh, fine. And then it just like goes like right into his like jaw and like rips through his jaw, and his jaw like falls on the ground.
Sweet.
Beautiful. So does the rest of his body,
Yeah.
coincidentally, also falls to the ground. Let's get a first ever death saving throw from Mr. Dr.
Ooh.
Bjorn.
A 3.
Ooh.
That's a fail.
Ooh, that's a fail. Hey, you're up.
Faye steps over Yvain, and then you hear as she crunches and steps on top of the dead zombie, and she's like standing like in the middle of it, and she pulls out of her pockets 3 good berries in each hand and diagonally just shoves them into Bjorn and Yvain's mouth, and like holds it shut so that they swallow it while they're prone.
Okay.
Does that work?
I will let you do this only if you use both your bonus and your regular action.
Oh yeah, that's all I was gonna
That's
do.
the whole thing.
That's the whole thing.
And only because I don't want anybody to complain. It's not a potion, so you're not uncapping it and dumping it. They're berries, and you're just like
dropping, holding.
Yeah.
Do you
Basically.
have a bonus action, right?
No, she would have to utilize that because she's giving it to 2 different people.
Yeah, I'm holding
Right.
it with both my hands.
No, but I'm asking, you have one as Faye.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody gets a bonus action.
Just whether or not you have useful stuff to do during it.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, okay, alright.
the issue. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm like, ooh. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you each get 3 hit points.
We each do?
So You can only. I will rule if you're doing this 2 people at a time. You can only give them each 1.
Okay, you each get 1 hit point, and I still have 4 left.
That's an on-the-fly ruling. You can only give 1 if you're administering it to 2 people.
Respect. Cool ruling.
Let me. That. Bjorn, you come to with a small person standing over you. It is this zombie's turn, and it's just gonna glance around and attack the nearest thing to it, which is Kessim. It sort of slaps you with a 15.
Does not hit.
Okay, so it does in fact hit you, but it's just like the palm of the hand against your chest, and then it like slides down. He got more of like a groping feel than he did like an attack, which is unfortunate. All right, Evane, you are still prone, but you got 1 hit point back.
Okay. She's gonna stand up, use her movement,
Okay.
and
Because you were actually prone, that is your half movement.
okay. And she's gonna she's gonna be like, holy fuck! And look up and shoot a crossbow at the zombie that's up.
Cool. Do it.
Whew.
20 to hit.
All right. Yep,
Yeah,
a dirty 20 hits.
Yep.
Yep. How much damage does your bolt do?
Let us see. 7 points of piercing.
Okay. It goes through, because it's facing Kessim, so it goes through its back left shoulder blade, and it's still sort of poking out the front. And it just sort of like slumps forward a bit, but it's still standing and moving. But it is now Kessim's turn.
Kessim is not hyperventilating because everybody is now eyes open and she doesn't have to get away. She's like, okay, hit.
Okay, hit it.
Dirty 20.
Another dirty
Yeah.
20. All right, for how much?
3 damage with one-handed.
All right. You smack the bolt that's poking out, and you kind of force it back in a bit, which is pretty painful. Jack.
Letting the crystal, it kind of rolls out of his hand and it hovers for a second, and the same necrotic energy rolls up around it, trying to pull it down to the ground. And we'll need a con save.
Okay. Another dirty 20.
Dave's.
Damn.
Yeah, just
Make a free flat intelligence check.
thank you. Yep. 8 total.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Okay. For my movement, I'm just going to look at Cage. She's fine. Squeeze her shoulder and then run over here because Kessim is bigger. That'll be it.
Oh, that's a joke. I'm not gonna touch Cade.
Oh Jesus.
Alright.
joke.
I got a nice shoulder squeeze from my brother, and he is now out of melee range with the thing. So I'm gonna go and attack and swing at the last remaining zombie to hopefully finish it. That is a 23 to hit with
Sweet.
12 points of slashing damage.
And how do you kill this one?
This one, I think I probably just go like straight through the pelvis because it's kind of at the level where I'm at.
Cool.
Just like sever the spine and it just slides into 2 different pieces.
Like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like the legs fall this way and the torso falls that way.
Yeah.
Respect.
But it's 2
Alright.
combats, and Bjorn hasn't attacked yet.
Oh,
Alright.
Bjorn.
Alright.
Bjorn.
Can I retrieve my crossbow bolt?
Yes, you can.
Bjorn with the 1 hit point.
I
Yeah.
did, and I will share this with viewers at some point when I record it. I do have a rule for recovering bolts, but you've only been using 1 each time, and I will allow you to recover the 1. Okay.
So I
What
will
now?
sit up and look at Evane and look that see that she has like blood running down the side of her head, and just kind of look around like what the hell's going on, you know.
Faye walks up to the both of you
ev-
and once again just holds out each one good berry and goes, "Take it now. I don't
I
want to
look
get
at
stuck
Faye
in
and I'm like-
combat without either of you ever again."
I look at Faye and I said, "I'll take it, but hang on." And she turns back to Bjorn and puts her left arm, on you, and you see kind of the flowers that are on her arm start to glow blue, and she casts Cure Wounds.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
You get
Full health. I will
Yeah.
hand the berry to you.
Faye sees that happen and just takes the one and puts them both in the other hand and then goes. You
And
see
for
her
the
little
listeners
angry
out
face.
there, that was 10 points of healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll take it and just kind of quickly shove them in her mouth, and she kind of has some chipmunk cheeks and looks ridiculous as she's chewing on them and swallows. How many points?
Good berries are always 1 each.
Unless you multi-class into Life Cleric and have that cheese where they're 3 each.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like a professional spook and hunter.
On that line, I'm gonna run over to Cade. I'm gonna put my hands on her shoulders with the same squeeze and like pull her close and just tap our foreheads together.
Hi.
You're the tiny terror.
Yes, I am.
That was awesome.
Thanks. You were also awesome, but also scary. Please don't go into melee with things.
It was Mr. Dr. Broom. We can't.
You just met him.
Yeah, but I wrote about it for. I will go back to the center.
Okay,
where I
he
belong.
is super cool, but also he was fine.
I will. When I woke up, I saw Cade standing over me, right? Or
Stack.
Stack standing over me, right?
You would have seen both, yeah.
Okay.
Both of us.
So I'll get to my feet and I'll walk over to Stack and say, that was very brave, my little friend. Thank you very much.
Yeah. You have a reputation to uphold, and I will not say a word. And then I run over here and scurry back into the backpack.
Okay.
What else is in this room? Anything of importance? Can I look around?
You can make an investigation check, of course.
18.
Okay. The most interesting thing in this room is the boulder with what you can tell with your investigation check is dried blood. You can actually see that there appears to be a blood stain that dribbles out from this boulder towards the entrance of the cave that you all came in through. And it looks like this particular blood hasn't been here very long. It's definitely dried. It's not still wet. But while there are some stains on here that appear to be older than others just by how deep and set into the stone it is, there is some more recent bloodstains on top. But that's the only
So
thing
it's
of interest
not-
in the cavern.
So it's not just a boulder, DM. It's a rock. A rock.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
Sorry, didn't get the reference.
It's SpongeBob.
Bad
It-
SpongeBob joke.
Yeah, I
a-
didn't get that one either.
It's a rock.
Sorry. So she'll point out that the blood doesn't it's not fresh, but it kind of looks newer.
Oh, look, a boulder. That is a nice boulder.
And the Shrek, of course.
Oh, you guys aren't making it to level 2 tonight.
So it's coming from the top of the rock, or the boulder. Excuse me.
You can call it whatever you want.
Is it it's coming from the ceiling, right? That's the stalactite. It's different. Okay, so does it kind of resemble an altar in a way, like for sacrifice?
You could equate it to that, yeah. I'll tell you the description once more. A flat boulder sits in the not center of the cave. It's about 6 feet across, 8 feet long, and 3 feet high. Dark stains color its top.
Okay.
Like a table with blood on it.
Yeah. I have a feeling that this is not used for medicinal purposes.
Gonna say, I assume somewhere in Acolyte training, some higher level clerics with Destroy Undead were like, this is a bad thing.
Do we want to keep going?
Want to or should?
I think we should, but which way?
Oh,
Yeah. There's two
Evane
ways.
actually asks, she kind of sits down for a second. She's like, can I actually take 10 minutes to adjust some things? And she kind of starts messing with her arm a little bit. And also casts Detect Magic ritually. I should probably mention that one.
Okay, I was like, sure. Roleplay the arm. That's cool. I'm game. Yeah. Alright. If nobody else is doing anything, we'll just fast forward to 10 minutes later. When the only magic, aside from any magical items on your companions, are the faint traces of necromancy on the 2 dead bodies next to you.
So none on the altar itself. Okay.
While she's doing that, Kessim is going to say to Stack, look, this is the one item that needs to stay near the top of the bag. This is my healing kit. You can move around anything else, but this needs to be reachable.
Yeah, I know. I did some organizing down here, but I thought that was important. So it's on the top.
Yeah, I know. I don't totally know what he packed yet. I haven't gone through it entirely, but I know I need this right up top.
There's a lot in here.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't know what all of it does.
Oh?
Yeah.
Maybe I can help later. Now is definitely not the time.
No.
Evane is done kind of you see her kind of moving the fingers mechanically. You see her kind of making sure the joints are working the way that they should be. You see her adjust kind of right where it attaches on her shoulder a lot. You can get a sense that that's a problem area for her. And afterwards, she kind of looks up at the altar. Her eyes are slightly glowing more blue than they normally are. And she conveys that the altar doesn't seem to be magical in itself, but that is definitely necromancy, like Stack said.
I don't know if this is a worthwhile engagement for us right now. Kind of looking at Cade concerned. Maybe maybe some sort of recovery is in order. I just
We can take shifts if you want
no.
and just rest here.
Well, I don't want to make decisions for the group, but all of a sudden, like I'm very concerned about what we're going into. Like I said before, there is very clearly an individual that is doing this, and I'm scared.
It is alright to be scared, Stack. It is natural. But it is facing your fears that will make a meek man great.
I do agree that maybe some rest time, but like I don't know about you, but I need like a lot of rest, and I don't know about staying inside a cave for a long time. But I don't know what happens when we turn down those corridors, so we could either keep going or like go out. I don't know. It's up to you guys. I'll do whatever you want to do.
No, Mr. Dr. Bjorn said that we need to be bold. We should brave this cavern immediately.
Hey, which way?
I don't
think that was my bet.
It's not quite what I meant, Stack. I meant you cannot let your fear control you. You should still be careful. It is how you stay alive. But if we are ruled by our fear, then we will not accomplish what we set out to do.
Well, what do you think?
I think we must do what is best for everyone in the group. We are going to fight better together. It looks like our young goat lady here needs. She looks worse for wear.
Yvain is still bleeding from her head too.
Oh, and that,
I
yeah.
have band-aids. And
If we go to the mouth of the cave and there's only one way in, one way out, then we would and take shifts, we would know if someone comes in or out, right?
yeah, well,
Correct.
we have one person stationed on each side.
Back to back.
I agree, and I will take first watch. Thanks to Yvain here, I feel much better.
All right,
And I haven't
so
casted a single spell the entire game.
that's not true. You did firebolt.
Well, I did do that
You
to a door.
firebolted
And
the door.
Leveled.
yeah.
Leveled, yeah.
So from my understanding, you guys are going to attempt to take a long rest in this little opening of the cave that you are in.
Yes.
Outside.
You're going out back outside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the mouth of the cave.
Okay.
Like if
Excellent.
we're gonna zoom out a little bit, like maybe somewhere up here.
Yeah, in the bushes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have
for cover.
cover.
Okay.
Where we can still see the opening.
Okay, a little further down.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm thinking
perfect.
like right at the mouth. So that way we don't miss anything.
All right. So that's a perfect place to end it, and it is 3 minutes to 9:30, so it's perfect timing.
Ew.
Light spell is gone from Yvain, so I'm just going to take that off really quick. Good session, guys.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Those Quarry people, we're gonna go back and murder all of them. Is all I heard. For that entire thing.
So good thing, bad thing. I guess I will start. I have two good things. I'm gonna kind of cheat, because one I really want to acknowledge, and that is I love a big Mom Kesem. Like, I am here for it. All about it. My other good thing is, unlike the first couple of sessions where it was just go do this thing, and I think you picked up on it, starting to drop little things, see what you do with it, see where it goes, and it's much more, you guys, but also hints of the future, and I'm so excited because we're getting places. Bad thing? I thought y'all were going to jail. I do not have a map or anything prepared for that, so now I know to always have a jail ready.
I mean,
Dude,
if
that
we're being fair,
persuasion came in clutch.
yeah,
yeah, I did. At disadvantage to like a 23 and a 24. Holy cow.
Woo!
I mean, really, anytime Bjorn is talking to somebody, having a jail ready is probably a wise idea.
Okay,
'cause
well,
he's kind of an ass.
lesson learned.
We have
Knowing-
He's
no.
super cocky. We haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
What?
You've
What?
got
What's the highest charisma we have in the party? I'm just curious.
Like a 14, right?
I think 14 is the
yeah,
highest.
because Faye has the +2. I have a +1.
I have
so...
a +1.
Yeah, same. +1.
Yeah.
Kesum has a +2.
I got a -1.
Oh, somebody you haven't met yet who may be a guest has a +5.
To charisma, I have a
charisma.
+0.
Oh, my little cheat sheet shows a +2.
To saving throws, not to regular
Oh, to saving throws. That's what it is. I didn't read the line. Okay.
Cool.
Oh, did you get that app?
I
Or
did.
that,
I did.
Yeah, I like it.
Extension? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was me. We'll actually go in order. So, Will, you're up. Good thing, bad thing.
Good thing was we hit level 2.
Nice.
You decided to
That's
play
right.
tag.
No, I mean, I guess my good thing is I had a lot of fun tonight. I think the children was my favorite part. That was fun. Anytime I get to interact with kids is enjoyable. And I think bad thing was I didn't get to do anything in combat the whole night. But it's just how the dice fall. So it's not anybody's fault.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Next up is going to be, I keep wanting to say Faye, but you are Miranda.
I think the good thing about tonight is that I realized that apparently I am the face of the party, which is fun. I enjoyed bartering and schmoozing and perusing, and that was interesting to flesh out some of that. I also, this is a cop-out, it's another good thing. I'm really glad that last session I wrote down how many good berries I used, and then this session I recognized that we were still within the 24-hour period, because then I would have wasted 8 hit points on nothing. So I'm really glad with my note-taking. And I don't really have a bad thing for this session. Maybe it was the fact that I couldn't catch the kid. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, playing tag was fun.
Nikki.
So good thing was it was just so much fun to joke, and I felt very like after a long day at work, it was just nice to be able to spend time with you guys and just like, even though we went slow, which was my bad thing, it was still fun to take our time and kind of just go about it. And I think as a party, like that's just kind of how it's gonna roll until we are very driven to go do something.
Kendall.
So I have a couple of things. The Mr. Dr. Boom. I love that you called him Mr. Dr. Bjorn afterwards as a DM, so that's canon now. And the second good thing is for you, Beth. I like the fact that you didn't railroad us at all when we were doing Quarry stuff, kind of going off base, and I don't know what the campaign's written for you, but the kids and stuff, and like going through it and the interactions with the Quarry quartermaster. I don't know. Whoever whatever her title is, I thought was really
Quarry master.
Yeah.
Is it a mason?
Mason? Whatever. I thought that was cool, and it was it was fun. And then the bad thing, I fucked up a couple of stuff on the production end, with some of the music stuff and adjusting levels and like the mid time, because if I don't have it set beforehand, I have to go into Discord and it messes up the overlays and things. And one more kind of thing.
Well, hold on. I am going to interrupt you there. That's why we're practicing, right? Like, it happens.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
Sure. And then for another, not necessarily a bad thing, I guess more neutral, is I'm such a huge fan of attack and spell descriptions. You know, like even if something misses you or how attacks land, I guess, and things like that, I find super interesting. Because there's so much like character stuff and theme stuff that you can like put out. So I just really encourage everyone to like lean into that, even if it takes like a second or two more. Like, fuck it, it's fun, it's cool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it adds to the
Agreed.
theater of the mind experience.
Yeah.
Letting
Yeah.
people really visualize what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here for it. That's it.
All right, Alexandra. Good thing, bad thing.
I'm also gonna mix it up because nobody's following the rules tonight anyway. Good thing. I love playing Big Mom Energy. There's a reason I volunteer. So new in-game goal is to lower the DC of Stack's Panic.
Aww.
Neutral thing. Kessim's Big Mom Energy is 100% where all of the teenage tiefling chaos gets channeled to. Because that character is just no. Bad thing. I considered for a moment turning invisible and leaving Stack to get in trouble.
Nice.
Now that I know that hidden step works that way.
Nice.
Very confused halflings.
Alex, you're up.
I already have a lot of issues. I just want to put that out.
Stacks abandonment issues would happen, then kick right in. No. Good thing. I don't know. I always love my jokes, so
We do
I
too.
enjoy them. I
We
hope
do
you all do. Other good thing was that I did so much damage. I was like, wow, the dice like me tonight. I don't know. I didn't like roll below, I think, an 8 on a damage die tonight. So that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bad thing.
So no spoilers, but if you kept rolling like that through the rest of this encounter, no problem. You are golden.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Bad thing? I don't know. We didn't level up, and also I don't enjoy only having 2 rages, especially because I used both of them last session. So just like out there, feeling very exposed as a barbarian.
No,
But
it
you're
is.
kicking ass as a barbarian, man.
Oh, well, thank you. They don't call
Alright.
me the tiny terror for nothing.
Well, should you not chase any little girls in a game of tag next session, I can promise you a level up.
Hey.
Yay!
Like
Cool.
And I don't think the amount of time between 2 and 3 will be as much because you've already like explored the town a bit.
Okay.
So you will have more focus as to where to go to do the thing that you need to do.
Nice.
So
Kind of on one comment about like the town and stuff like that. I kind of feel like sometimes we're floundering for direction a little bit, and I don't know if that's just us not being that smart as people, or or something like that, to where it's do we hit the job board? Do we talk to the NPCs we know? Do we look for more? Because I was convinced that the quarry was a thing, both in character and out of character, because we got 2 different like
Yeah.
kind
Sure.
of points in that direction. Which I'm down with the red herring, like always. But just throwing that out there, because there was a couple of times where I felt like the whole party, and correct me if I'm wrong, the rest of you guys, were here swimming a little bit, trying to get pointed in the right direction.
It didn't.
Noted.
I personally think that we were all kind of like thinking the same stuff, but I think it was more, at least for me, it was more. I know I have a tendency sometimes to talk over people and to kind of like be the one leading things, and so I try to like back off as much as I can sometimes to not be pushy.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I was trying to see what everybody else would do.
Fair.
I know for me, there wasn't like it was just a cloak with dust on it, and while the dust did come from the quarry, I wasn't sure what the significance was. Like there wasn't
Yeah, I was ready to
enough
write that off.
yeah, there wasn't enough context or like impact for me to have Yvain suddenly be like, oh, we're gonna go here, which is why as soon as we were in the shop and he mentioned that, I'm like, oh yes, cool, light bulb, let's go.
Yeah. Well, that's why that's a perfect. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that was a perfect connection.
we
Yeah,
also
it was flawless the way that was done. Even if we
Mhm.
didn't even if we don't get there like immediately, I think it's fine as long as you kind of leave those breadcrumbs and we pick it up eventually.
Mhm.
I didn't
It was
feel
good.
that was too long of a time. The tag is what.
Yeah. Yeah, us
I love
screwing
it,
But
around
it
with
was
it is
fun.
what took forever.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I
was
am in
great.
no way,
Yeah.
shape, or form telling you not to do that
And it
because
was
that is one of
also
my favorite things. But
so
it does
I
take
will
time.
I will say I was the one that directed Faye to go do that, but my whole like thinking behind that was that we were essentially going to get tired and say, "Oh, do you think we can, get a glass of water at your house?" and then like go to where the stone man is supposed to be. That was kind of like my thinking.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
obviously that wasn't, as a player, I was trying to play it
Yeah.
chill.
Also, we technically never asked where any big rocks might be. We just assumed that it was the quarry and not this other giant rock outside of the city.
Right.
So,
Yeah, the character separation is always hard, and by no means, Beth, am I saying like spoon feed is where we're supposed to go. I'm not saying that at all, because like I said, I love the red herrings, I love the like floundering, I love the letting the dice lead it and stuff like that. But just for this session, I don't know, the dice were low and we were dumb. Like,
I will say though, that's sort of the point of doing these levels 1 and 2, like meeting everybody, getting this awkward phase out of the way.
True. Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
once you reach level 3 and the plot begins, you're gonna there's so much stuff that you can and want to do that I don't think you will encounter this problem. But you guys are still you're still doing your own individual things because you're still new to a group, right? And new to the town. So you don't know who to ask for these things.
Right.
Or, I loved the idea of let's make a sign and make these jobs come to us sort of thing. Like, that's brilliant. And I don't know. I just think it's growing pains that happen naturally.
Yeah.
I do take the constructive criticism. I appreciate it. Duly noted. I felt it a little bit too, so I'll work on that. But I also struggle because this is only my second long-term campaign. I also don't want to, shove something down your throat and make it feel like this is a very linear path that you have to follow.
It was very organic the way you were laying things out. Like I didn't feel rushed at all as a player, and like even though it took us a while to kind of like get going, that was fine ultimately, at least for me.
Yeah, me too. I think the pace was fine. I had no
Yeah.
issues with the pace at all. I thought everything was great.
Several of us as players, we're gonna chase every little breadcrumb you
I
bring
know
out
you will.
there.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and
Get lost in
we'll sit in a
all
bar
the
for
plot
4 hours. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Alex, did you finish?
Oh, I'm just saying we're gonna find every single plot cul-de-sac and think it's the main plot, and it is not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every
Also,
single one.
apparently, dwarven yoga is a thing now for me.
Dwarven.
like it.
So will be putting out instructional videos of how that works if you want to learn about dwarven yoga and how you can incorporate into your daily exercise routine. Look for that. On that note, we are going to peace out because it is approaching 10 o'clock. But we will be here next Tuesday for those secret special meetings that we are recording. So see you then, hopefully.
Awesome. Bye,
Awesome.
guys.
Bye.